Stream hype. Chat real quick. Welcome in, everybody. Everybody had a good weekend, a good week. Let me get this up and going. Nope, that wasn't right. Maybe I can get this to work. Hello, Dio. Hello, Oliver. Welcome, Hash Brown. Up. Okay. All right, we're good. Welcome in, everyone. Where doth my buttons go? There. It does not look like the Discord is working. Dang it. Set it up. It keeps turning off. Apparently I have to like stay. I'm just gonna delete it again. Hold on. Application audio is still in beta. Apparently. Okay, try that. The problem is it keeps like it'll use the Discord voice channel chat when I'm in it, the recording in progress, and then as soon as I switch to like the voice channel cat, it just stops working. So try talking now.
Hello.
Talkie.
Okay, keep talking.
Talk.
Okay, that worked. Weird.
I'm not good at small talk. I can't just speak on demand.
You gotta like learn a Shakespearean play or something, and then just start talking that way.
Just start spouting soliloquy.
Yep.
I'm afraid I don't actually know what a soliloquy is. I only know how to say it.
I actually don't know either, so don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. Welcome in, everybody. I'm gonna start with a rugby sketch. It is Wednesday. It is the viewer suggestion. We're going to be drawing some Dungeons and Dragons things today. I have a whole list from the viewer suggestion. If you have a character suggestion and that is not on the list, feel free to let me know and I will add it to the list. And we'll see what the dice gods decide people should be drawn today. That was a weird sentence. This is a very distressed rugby. I might do this again.
Yeah, what'd you do to him?
Just it looks like he's like crooked. Maybe my chair's in the wrong spot. My eyes are all kinds of boggled today. Hold on a second. Got hair in my eyes. Glasses are dirty.
Get a haircut, you hippie.
Yeah.
Hey, Bionic. I'm back.
George back. Yeah, you were gone last week.
Back.
Hope you're feeling
I
better.
know.
Actually, I'm not
I am.
feeling bad, but
No, yeah. I just probably related to my thyroid. I just basically couldn't sleep one day, and then I was on a graveyard shift, basically, against my will.
No problem. No, I'll be doing better. Well, I'm glad you're back.
Thanks, yeah.
I tried to draw.
Hormones get fucky when you get older, right?
Yeah. Tried to draw a little yesterday in Discord. No one was around, and I was just like, all right then, I'm out of here.
I was crushing cans yesterday, so that's where I was at. Sorry.
Right. Smoke shots, yeah. Femboy miking it in a maid suit. Lord Dio, I'm not sure if that's serious or not, but you gotta give me a class. Also, I don't know if Mike and his are gendered.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like we make jokes about mushrooms and myconids being
penises.
Yeah, a big exposed mushroom penis, but like it's not really a binary when you come. And anything that has spores doesn't really work on a gender binary system.
Yeah.
So. Not that any social species really truly has gender binary, but generally speaking, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's like from a standpoint of like the political gobbledygook of everybody arguing about it. Like, I think the only thing that really matters when you're having a conversation about this is like biological gender needs to be specified. And that's specifically for conversations in which you're talking about chromosomes and sexual function in that process.
Yes. So we really should be saying sex, not gender, because
Correct.
one is the biological description and one is the culture based, the social description. Yeah.
And so I think I really feel like YouTube keeps throwing all kinds of political crap at me lately because that's where my head's been. And so like every time I bump into a quotation marks discussion about it, it's always two people with different viewing descriptions just yelling at each other, and it's like you both need to be very specific about what you're talking about,
and so actually educated about what you're talking about, please, as well.
What can of worms did I just open up?
I was gonna say
you didn't. I did. I'm sorry.
But no, I when I draw my myconids, I usually I draw them very ladylike,
feminine,
because I just like the curviness.
Sure.
And that's my choice, right? Like I don't think there's any there's no reason to go one way or the other.
Yeah. I go super alien lately, so
yeah.
I used to do just chibi little puppet mushrooms. Just a cute little guy.
Jordan, welcome in.
I still do occasionally. I like a chubby little mush boy.
So Toad.
Yeah.
I choose Toad. What?
Todd from Mario. I know Toad.
Apparently, the Starbomb album is going to be in the works.
Cool.
What did Aaron say? I guess Dan said he didn't think that Aaron could rap about Mario's dick for years. And then Aaron's like, "Oh, I knew I could. You just didn't think I could."
Yeah. I haven't watched any Game Grumps lately, so I have not been privy to any of that.
They've been playing Sonic Frontier.
Oh.
Which is exists. I'll put it that way. Curvy mushroom ladies. Well, do you want curvy mushroom ladies or do you want femboy myconid maid suits? You gotta throw. Which one do you want? Like you gotta pick one for the list. I don't know why a myconid would be wearing a maid suit though.
To infiltrate the mansion that's been harvesting its brethren for the master's table.
Just
kill them all.
Pigs.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just pulling up a storyline out of my ass.
Truffle spy.
Is there such thing as like a mushroom course in any sort of cuisine?
Not directly, because a mushroom is not a. How do I say this? No, because it is not a defined meal. You wouldn't have just mushrooms. You would add mushrooms to something. Partially because there's not usually there's portobellos, which are pretty big, so you could have like a portobello steak. Yeah. But that would probably still be considered either a alternative meat or an alternative vegetable.
Okay, so they're usually considered a vegetable or a side.
Yeah, because like really at that point, like portobellos and stuff that big, they aren't worth much. So like a truffle is really expensive, and so you get a little bit on something, right? You'd make a flavoring out of it, and then you give them something to like taste it, kind of like caviar. And so it's like you could have like something to that effect, but mushrooms in general are cheap and kind of not the star of the dish.
Gotcha.
What?
Tasty though. Anyway,
doesn't mean someone couldn't make something like that.
True. Yeah. I shouldn't lead us into food discussion this early in the podcast.
Yeah. The trouble.
Too early.
How it works, Lord Dio. You gotta pick one. Yeah, but no, it's used in many kinds of sauces, so technically, yeah, and that's the thing. Like maybe in the soup, you could have like a mushroom-based soup as well, but I've never had like a mushroom course, right? Like,
yeah.
Unlike a cheese course.
Yeah, well,
or bread course.
Yeah. I'm completely new to D&D, and this is a cooler way to learn about races. Yeah. Is this a podcast now? Yeah, I was thinking about that because YouTube keeps sending me emails about like, oh, upload a podcast. I'm like, I kind of already do that. Do I need to like switch where I'm uploading this?
Yeah, I don't know. Between Yumi and Corvus and occasionally Burning Palace, it kind of is.
So maybe that's something else we should do because like right now it's mainly based around the characters we're drawing, but people are very welcome to add questions and discussions, and I've been doing more shorts trying to answer D&D questions. So if people have those, they're welcome to post them in comments, and I'll try to grab them.
Yeah, totally.
All the stuff I have advice for is just not really player or GM related.
How to grow potatoes.
Like, you could ask me, like, I don't know, lore questions, and I could get back with you with various examples.
You are very clearly, and you have stated this before, you are our resident expert on cryptids.
I think that's a good, like, self-descriptor, but I think in actuality, like, you have a very high knowledge of, how do I say this? You read the books and you remember it, which is a good thing.
Well, so, let me preface.
Yeah, I skim the books and I refer back to them when I need information.
Yeah.
I watch videos and then I will read a Wikipedia article.
That's research.
Those are the things I remember.
Doesn't matter. It still counts as research.
Walking into food talks about mushrooms is making me hungry. Go get some food. Finally catch another stream after 2 weeks of sleeping through them. My sleep schedule was garbo. I'm sorry to hear that, Nord. Welcome in. Elvin Hair, welcome as well. Do you prefer drawing humans like myconids or more mushrooms-like ones? I tend to draw... I mean, go check out the myconid video, which does exist. People can check that out. I usually tend to draw humanoid-shaped mushroom monsters. I'm not a big fan of like the ones in the book are usually like this. Just like...
Yeah. They're basically the Dark Souls 3... mushroom people, right?
Yeah, I like them looking more humanoid, just because if they are big and bulky, it feels like they wouldn't fit in the world as much because they're supposed to be like farmers and all these other things, but unless they're just like walking around pooping out mushrooms on the ground, you want them to use tools and stuff, so they need to be a little more humanoid, especially if you're going to play them, because as is, if you want to play a myconid and they can't use a sword, your option is to fight people. And that's a little boring. So, tend to make me hungry too. Thirsty. Okay. So, the way this works for those of you who are just joining in, if you already added your suggestion to the viewer suggestion poll post on the community page, I have all of those collected on a list. If you did not add one to that, you're welcome to add it to the chat. I will add it to the list. We are going to roll some dice, and we're going to see which ones we draw. So I'm going to start with that right now. I'm pretty happy with this little rugby sketch. It's not actually, no, I'm not. Looking at it now on the other screen. Hold on a second.
He's standing ever so slightly crooked.
He's a little weird. Something strange happened. Excuse me. Nose is a little. It is allergy season, so I'm sure I will be sneezing and coughing more in the future.
Yes. But yeah, I was not expecting to basically be a leg day workout.
Oh yeah. Stomp.
Lots of stomps and lots of squats
Gotcha.
to pick up said cans.
I had we used to do a lot of recycling in Idaho because they had a pretty good recycling program, but it was because they would pay you for the cans and stuff. So what we did is we built a press, an arm press, and so every couple of months you'd have like a garbage can full of soda cans, and you just like it worked out your arms pretty good. Oddly enough, I later discovered that same press was originally like a potato cutter.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean it's just a block with a lever in it like this.
Mm-hmm.
You put the potato in, you have a grate here, and it turns it into French fries.
Yeah.
Turns out you can turn this into a block, put a can in it, and it just crushes the can, and then you just go bloop into a new bucket. So yeah, this is a podcast now, apparently.
Yep. A podcast with hand-drawn visuals.
Yep.
That's got to be a new genre, right?
Don't talk to me about
Called
allergies. My
YouTube.
poor nose can't handle it. I was listening to a Joe Rogan snippet on Shorts. He was basically saying that like the only through point for his podcast career and like the reason he never could have actually sold it if he was trying to describe what it is the through point is that it's just stuff that he's interested in. Like, yeah, the Joe Rogan experience is just people I want to talk to because I'm interested in it, and it was successful. It's like, that's fun. I like that idea. But for the most part, like, you have to either be very varied or be able to get like, you know, really high profile people to make that successful. Otherwise, you're just a guy on the internet yelling about stuff, which I feel sometimes.
Yeah.
That feels like me.
I mean, most people on the internet are just guys on the internet yelling about stuff, so.
That's fair too. That is fair too. All right, let's roll some dice. Let's get some stuff going.
Man. Took me a while to get going today. I haven't drawn in a while.
Oh no.
Oh no? Oh no. What'd you roll?
Centaur Artificer. Right arm is mechanical with small cannon mounted on the shoulder. Wears his hair in a
Ooh,
low
boy.
ponytail and has a thick beard. All right. I had to start with something complicated.
That's what the rugby warm-up is for.
Yep.
I just thought of your Centaur automaton druid.
Oh, mine? Yeah. For anybody who is not aware, which is probably most of you because I don't talk about it that much, I'm currently in a 5e game playing a goblin artificer who rides got a centaur-shaped steel defender.
I thought you were, he's got a centaur-shaped hole in his heart. I was like,
he likes the big donkey dick. What can I say? No. No. I'm just kidding. He's married to his recent
This went sideways so fast.
It did. It's
Backpedal.
It super did. No, his centaur is made out of scrap armor, so instead of hooves, it's got hand gauntlets. So it's a weird, creepy junk centaur with hands instead of hooves, so that it can centipede crawl up ropes.
Creepy. I like it.
Yeah.
We got more garlic bread cleric, which I still don't fully understand. My body casually folding like a lawn chair to bee dust. What is that, Nord? I don't understand what that means. I hope that doesn't mean that you're in horrible pain. Funny D&D story, because why not, Lauren? What is that? The garlic bread cleric? Hash brown.
I hesitate to bring it up, but I'm wondering if it's a continuation of the baked potato golem.
Could be.
Which I thought that we were finally over, and I have to bring it back up.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. That was an old one.
Yeah.
I think the people that used to make that joke made their own Discord, and now they live in the ether, which is great. I mean, that means that we had some people find their friend group on the Discord. Which is awesome.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Let's see if I can remember how beards go. I kind of want to make oops. kind of want to make this like a massive beard. The problem I have with centaurs, drawing centaurs, is that like it's essentially two characters that have to be standing next to each other. It's a horse and a guy. So there's just like there's never enough space. I feel like there's never enough space to draw. Same thing with Aarakocra, because you have to draw the character and then massive bird wings, and it's like, oh, there's just never enough space.
It very much is like how it is ultimately the same as having to draw both the character and their mount.
Yeah. So I'm probably not going to draw too much of the horse here, but I'm going to draw a giant beard because that sounds fun. I'm scared to see this GIF.
It's just a beard.
Oh, because Hashy Brown had a smiley donkey. All right.
Donkey.
I'm sorry, I took it way too far. But just so excited to be back here with my friends, making inappropriate jokes.
We're on YouTube, damn it. No, it's fine. Oliver, it should be, unless you just posted it. I grabbed all of the all of the characters' suggestions this morning, right before the stream. So. The song always gets me. I never expect it. This is a Minecraft playlist on Pretzel Rock. So I don't actually know what makes this Minecraft, but it always that guy singing always gets me. It was a day or two ago. Okay, yeah, it should be on the list then. Are you doing requests from your latest poll today? Yes, correct. So the last one should have been the picture of the weird squiddy monster. And it should be from Monday. So if you posted it on Monday, it's on there. I'll start putting the dates on there. Maybe we should find a new way to, maybe a keyword. Secret password so people know which episode it's on. And I don't know what that is, Lord Dio. Like the movies? We would say Predator movies? Keyword each episode after a kind of cheese. That could be funny. Yeah, Predator movies. I keep forgetting to rewatch the second Predator movie. I haven't watched it in like 20 years. But I watched the new one and I really liked it.
Danny Glover in it?
I think so, yeah.
Because he's like it's in New York.
Mm-hmm. The Alien vs. Predator movies are just silly, but I've still watched all of them.
I'm not gonna lie, I liked the first one.
It's a buddy cop film. It's really weird.
It's like, I liked this. I understand a lot of people will probably hate this movie.
I was really surprised to find out that Predator was a comic book.
Oh yeah, they have a whole bunch of stuff for them. Whole bunch of crossovers.
Yeah, but is it based off of the movie, or is the movie based off the comic?
I believe the comics are based off the movie because
Okay.
it's essentially DC bought the rights to it, and so they did like a whole bunch of crossovers and then did like their own runs of some things.
Okay.
Like they have Batman vs Predator. That was a really good comic. They had Predator versus Ninja Turtles, I think.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I think they did a crossover there. The Aliens franchise got their own. They continued on the story of Aliens like immensely. I like the Predator series in concept. Can't really get into any specific execution thus far. Yeah, it's a really cool universe. But it also it's creepy. It's a good monster movie, I think. Predator 2 is good. City Hunting kind of thick, not gonna lie. I played the Predator. They made a game for like I think the PS2. And it was so hot garbage. It was real bad. Made me real sad. So the weird part about it is like the Predators are like master hunters. Like they're supposed to go out and find like the most dangerous game to hunt.
Yeah.
But they always just feel super OP. And it like it's usually not a challenge except for like the titular character.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I don't understand why somebody who's interested in hunting like game that's hard to hunt would go after humans, because most of us are not going to be a challenge, and that includes anybody who's listening to this who's a prepper who thinks, oh no, I could totally do that. You can't. Probably you can't. And I'm not just saying that because I know I would die within 30 seconds.
Invisible creatures with laser beams? Yeah, that's kind of an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
But I do think it's supposed to kind of be the equivalency of like a deer versus a guy with a high powered rifle. It's like what would hunt the people with the high powered rifles? Invisible creatures with laser guns. So like that's kind of the step up. Which is interesting. I think that's good because Aliens is kind of the same thing. Like as humans colonize the universe, what's scarier than that? It's an alien that can colonize it better. So
an alien that can colonize your body.
Oh no! Our peoples are not hunted. I think so. Yeah, there's some weird rules for the predators, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, I remember in the
moose.
first
They hunt moose. Sorry, go ahead.
Predator versus Alien, or Alien versus Predator. There's like a sick guy there, and like you wouldn't even mess with him. It's like you're useless.
Yeah, that was.
I'm here for the alien.
That's the guy that makes all the robots.
No, but really, they should be hunting orcas.
Yeah.
We'll give this guy an 8, like a Predator plasma blaster.
I'm just saying. Get in the water with something that can echolocate you and see how your invisibility does.
Predators are ultimate hunters when they hunt each other. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. They're coming out with another alien. I don't think it's actually Colonial Marines. It's just another alien, like, real-time strategy game. Which could be interesting. But
Yeah.
I probably won't get it or play it.
I've never really been interested in the franchise. I recognize Aliens for what the first movie did for visual media, for movies in general, especially for the horror genre. But you know, I don't really generally care for horror, and I don't know. I don't think any of the subsequent Aliens movies kind of hold a candle to the first.
The second one was like kind of the start of the combat horror genre.
Yeah.
Which like was so influential for video games. Like every video game has come out in the last like 20 years has been trying to capture that. What if 5 Marines get trapped surrounded by tons of alien swarms? Like it made StarCraft the way StarCraft is. Like it's so good. There's a lot of really cool stuff in there.
Yeah, it's certainly influenced Halo,
Yep.
and I mean probably Perfect Dark too, way back
absolutely.
in the day.
Connor, hello, welcome.
Yeah, and like it is cool to see the influence of those things. It is not the type of story that I'm usually interested in, so I don't really engage with it. So I also will not probably get that game.
I really loved XCOM back in the day. I played the one of the new remakes, but I didn't play the second one. And then when they released like the whole series on Steam, I was like, hell yeah! And I bought it, and like my computer couldn't run any of them because they were just too old and jank. And I was like, oh, that's a sad day.
Or to burn itself alive.
Yeah. What if the Predator landed on Earth inside the Underworld franchise? That'd be interesting. I mean, if Batman can do with it, I think all the vampires are hosed.
Yeah, probably. Although Batman does have the superpower of having a badass computer, so
It's just lots of money. Still sad they got rid of the Batwoman? Batgirl? I can't remember what her name is.
there is a Batwoman. I think she's canonically a lesbian and in a relationship with Huntress. Yeah. Not Barbara Gordon.
Correct.
As Batgirl.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is Batwoman. It's funny because in that universe, she's I'm gonna say passively identical to Batman.
Yeah.
Like it's the same story, but canonically, whenever they meet, they like don't know anything about each other. They're like, "Oh, you also like bats? Well, fucking doodle do."
Yeah,
and
no,
it's really funny. I always love their interactions.
It's very stupid to me, considering in both of their cases, like,
yeah,
their strength is research and knowing everything.
It's so good.
And being rich.
Yeah.
And being rich, yes.
It's really funny in Injustice. Superman, to get back at Batman, Superman outs him and it's just like, Batman is Bruce Wayne. He puts it on Twitter. It's just like, and Batwoman's like, what the crap? Because she didn't know. It's really funny. It's a really funny scene. He's a buff rich dude with some tech. Oh yeah. No superpowers. You should play Phoenix Point if you like XCOM. It's pretty cool and fun. I tried to play Phoenix Point. I didn't enjoy it as much. There was something weird about the way the turns played out that just didn't grab me. H Adam, hello. Yeah, I was really excited for Phoenix Point because it was made by the original developers. So I was like, oh yeah. And then it was a weird MOBA, and I was like, I don't want MOBA. Am I thinking of Phoenix Point? I'm thinking of something else. I might not have played Phoenix Point. I'm thinking of a different. Maybe not. I'll have to look that up. Maybe I'll just look that up now.
Man, why couldn't I draw hands this well on the day that we did our Artist Arcana to draw hands?
You had to practice more. Yeah, no, I haven't played Phoenix Point yet. Phoenix Point looks awesome. Can't remember why I didn't get it. Oh, because it came out in 2021. Okay. So I just forgotten about it. I just completely forgot about it. Yeah, I was looking forward to Phoenix Point. There was that game, and then there was another game that I was waiting to come out, and that one did come out, and I wasn't happy about it. Okay, I don't think his hair should be floofy. I think he should have it pulled back. I spent a little too much time on this guy because we kept getting distracted by stuff, but that's okay.
I mean, story of my life.
Health update. My eye is getting better.
Good.
But it feels weird now. I can finally see like shapes in my center vision again. Which is good, because now my eyes like don't get fatigued from stuff, but it just feels like there's constantly water in my eye. Like I keep trying to blink it away, and it's just like, nah, that's not how that works. It's on the inside.
That sounds frustrating.
Which is, it's fine. It's frustrating, but like it's getting better, so that's good.
Yeah, not having the eye strain is big for somebody who makes a living as a freelance illustrator.
Yeah. If this ever happens again to me, I think I'm just gonna do the surgery. Like I'm not gonna deal with this crap again. Kept telling myself,
it ain't
like,
worth it.
I'm a big healthy man. I can heal up real quick, and I'm like right on track for the average of healing, maybe on the lower end, the slower end. It's just like, So next time I'll just let him poke my eyeball. Hopefully it never happens again, but
yeah, we'll have to get you doing some relaxation exercises.
my blood pressure's doing better, I think. I hope. I was hoping I'm on blood pressure medication now, and I was hoping it would like significantly make my blood pressure go down, and it hasn't. It's just, it seems the same to me. Maybe it is lower, I think, but but I'm on the med. I'm on the med, which is good. I've been exercising more and stuff too, which is good.
Yeah, I'm excited to be back on my exercise regimen as well. Although my lower back is very tired.
Yeah. I really strained out my shoulder.
Oh no.
But I think it is just strain. Like it's I didn't hurt it. It's just like now that I'm working out again. Yeah, it's like oh yeah. I forgot. That's weak and I need to fix that. So we'll keep that. I'll do more push-ups today. Thought I'd hop in for a second. Have a good day, you guys. No problem, Kono. Thanks for hanging out. You gonna hand in the eye just like Sushi Uchiha from Naruto? Fix this. It always weirded me out. The only way for your powers to get better is to use the eye of your brother. It's like, who discovered this the first time?
Their edgy ancestor, quite literally.
Yeah. I guess they do talk about that, don't they? They show you though.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but like the experiment you have to do in order to find that out, like why would you do that experiment in the first place?
I think one of them was going blind and then the brother died or he killed him. I can't remember. I think it was the plot armor. The plot armor was like, my eyes suck. I'm gonna take yours. And it was like, oh damn.
So they go back and explain that spoilers for almost a 10-year-old anime now.
It's more than that.
Well,
no, so.
this part's about 7 years.
Okay.
So that their earliest ancestor was basically told by this, basically a relative of theirs, who's like this weird like black blob of a man.
Okay.
And that like if he would kill his loved ones, that he would gain more power. And so he had like a little group of followers that were really devoted to him, and he cared about them, and so he killed them all, and he gained more power. It's like, that's okay.
Awesome. Tips on drawing dinosaurs. References?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch more Jurassic Park.
Dinosaur references, lizard references. Unfortunately, without more specifics, that's about all I can tell you. I really do think there is still a stigma on references. It's just like, use them. Use references all the time. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
It's not tracing, it's not copying.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you are tracing and or copying.
Yes.
Find a picture of a dinosaur and break it apart. Find all the shapes. Draw the same picture 5 or 6 times, each time trying to improve something about it.
Yeah. And like try to understand what you're seeing. We talked about this a little bit when with the Artist Arcana video that you put out. Like most of what I know about like drawing digitigrade legs, I learned from, well, it's built on the foundation of what I learned about anatomy from of like knees and calves and Achilles tendons and ankles and whatnot. I learned that from like a 90s Jurassic Park toy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so like the key to drawing anything is start with big basic shapes, like block out as much as you can. Go for a silhouette, and then like look at tons of reference, and don't just look at the reference, try to understand what's there. And then when you can understand what's there, you don't need to look at quite as much reference.
Person who found out that babies held their breath underwater probably had some explaining to do. Always
Oh,
questionable
seriously,
stuff.
yes.
I think that is found out. Paleontology and muscular studies. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like a big thing about something I do a lot when I'm trying to figure out how to like draw birds, how to draw different lizards and stuff. Like just look at their bones. Like understanding how muscle tissue attaches to bone is really important for understanding how skin looks, because skin is the covering of those things. So
Yeah.
and like looking at this arm and stuff, like this isn't exactly how muscles work, but it's close enough for people to understand what's going on. Like these are all fake, just metal bits and chunks fulfilling the purposes of different metal or different muscles. So yeah, break it apart. Break it apart. All right, I'm done with this one. I'm gonna move on to the next one. Have you ever drawn predators before?
I'm finally ready for my first one.
But go ahead and roll me a dice. We have 23.
So what am I rolling? Just a d20
Yeah,
or
just roll a
d20 plus a
D20.
d10? Okay. 16.
16. A smoked Genasi rogue with an owl motif.
Cool.
I think that might be Corvus's.
I love it.
You don't have to draw it.
The dice gods decide.
No, the dice said. Besides, I didn't finish the other thing that I was supposed to draw for you yet, so.
18. An illithid alchemist is what I'm drawing.
Ooh.
Illithid alchemist. Have you drawn predators before? So I haven't specifically tried to, but like I'm sure I've sketched them. I've sketched them for sure. Big thing is to see a flaw and go, I need to fix this. Not, it's just my style. Yeah, the whole style argument is kind of a cop out that I think a lot of people have. I've done it in the past, for sure.
Same.
Because like for when I started out doing YouTube videos, like my style was very chunky and choppy, and I really liked it. I really liked a lot of the art I did. But like moving kind of through it now, going back and like I'm redoing a lot of the line arts for the coloring book pages. Things that I really liked, it's like, that's cool style. I can achieve that style with more precision. I just can't.
Yeah.
So there's always room to improve. Even if you really like your style, you can still improve your style.
Yeah.
I
am. Yes. Right now, I'm at the point where I'm looking back at all of the stuff that I've drawn here on stream in Aggie and notice that it all looks like I've drawn it without my glasses on. And part of that is because I've just used a really, really fuzzy brush because I've been trying to figure out how to do digital drawing. And so it's not a bad thing. It has been a hallmark of my style. I'm ready to move past that a little bit. That being said, drawing a smoked Genasi, that kind of fuzzy edged style is really going to help me out here. So
yeah.
I need a really good pose for a rogue, I think.
I'm going to try to do... I really want to do a whole bunch of portraits. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while. I might just try to hook in a lot of portraits here. See what I can come up with to try to make a character. So this needs to be an alchemist, but I also want it to be just a portrait, so I need to figure that out.
Lots of little glasses with multi lenses.
That's a gunslinger. Or an engineer. I'm sorry. What am I saying? I guess the alchemist is still the what's the word I'm looking for? Shoot.
Artificer?
Yeah, there we go. Those are all the same. In Pathfinder, they're different.
Yes. Because Pathfinder's answer to the Artificer, specifically the Inventor class.
Is that a Mind Flayer? It is. I think it was supposed to be a Mind Flayer, right?
Yes.
An Illithid, yeah.
I'm Googling rogue poses.
Trial and improvements tend to be the path to success and self-satisfaction.
I'm just... Yeah. No worries, Corvus. I'm just pulling a Spider-Man out of my ass.
Okay.
Just gotta do a Spider-Man and have him holding a knife with a reverse grip. Ta-da, you've got a rogue.
Generally how daggers were used was in a reverse grip.
I don't want to start an argument. So I will agree with you.
I'm specifically saying daggers, not swords, people.
Many, many ways to use a dagger. Because there are many types of daggers, and many types of cultures and fighting styles. So I agree with you. But also I don't agree with you at all. Be specific, Corvus. Be specific.
In a European context, which most fantasy takes place in, a reverse grip dagger is a more common style than a where the blade is pointing in the air.
Or fighting specifically.
Yes.
I'm willing to believe that is accurate because, as I understand it, like especially heavy daggers, like if you were using it for combat, you wanted to use it to penetrate armor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like downward thrust.
Yeah.
Stabbing motion. Careful what you wish for. Spidey is multiversal. He can pop out anywhere at any time. Hot take. Non-tech themed artificers are the best. Why does your armor suit need to be Iron Man? Can't it just be clay that molds itself around you? That could be pretty cool. Yeah, I really like the magical based artificer concept versus the like technomancer type thing. If I'm an artificer, I'm gonna be a steampunk guy. That's the like a lot of people do the steampunk stuff, and it's just like the thing I run into the most is people with engineering degrees, because I played with a lot of people in college. They're like, I'm an artificer, and this is how gunpowder is made, and I'm gonna blah blah blah. It's like, can we just hand wave that and say there's magic? Because I'm fine with that. Like, I don't need you to tell me how to build the thing you're building. Just hand wave it. It's magic. It's fine. But a lot of people don't like that, and that's totally cool. Like, that's the theming people want, is like they want that kind of steampunky, like, I am using my knowledge in opposition of magic to make this work. It's like, no, it's fine. If that's how you want to play it, and that's totally good. But I like the idea that artificers are also just people that craft magical items.
Yeah.
That's my fantasy. That's what I like.
My current artificer character that I talked about earlier, like I would not have intended. He's a little bit of a technomancer, but I would not have chosen to play a technomancer if it wasn't specifically compatible, like overtly compatible with the setting in which we're playing, which is kind of middling tech, high fantasy, like really high fantasy. So Magitech is actually a really important part of the main plot line, and it's been very beneficial actually for me to be an artificer.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get this arm right.
If you take D&D 2 literally, it makes it a bit less fun. Yeah, I think that's the problem with like rule lawyers that people have, is mainly just like the rule of cool is awesome, and then that goes the opposite direction when people just start breaking the rules, like flippantly breaking the rules. There's a beautiful middle ground. First time I heard of Mind Flayers was from a show called The Troop. A show about teenage monster hunters from Nickelodeon. Interesting. Weird. Never heard of that. I just wish that the artificer in D&D didn't have to always have magic at base. Yeah, it doesn't have to, but like, I mean, as much as you can hand wave magic to something to be magical, you can hand wave it the other way too. Like, that's fine. I just don't want, like, I don't want people getting hung up on having to be like 100% physically accurate, right? It's just like, you don't have to. That's not possible. Like, that's not a real thing. It's like, yeah, we're playing a fantasy game. It's fine. Hand waving physics is a little okay. Steampunk is so clunky and overrated and complicated. Oh my god. Yeah, steampunk is just one of those things.
It can be.
Yeah, same thing. Cyberpunk. Like, I like cyberpunk as a style, aesthetic style, but just like it people get too fixated on the aesthetics of things and kind of lose sight of what is actually supposed to be happening. So steampunk is one of those oversaturated genres that I honestly don't care about anymore. Just I've lost all. Steam Boy, great anime, but I'm kind of done with the rest of it. Kind of coat, because really what people say when they say steampunk is they mean Victorian. They went Victorian with robots. Whatever. I don't like Victorian aesthetic, period.
Yeah.
Literally give one of my PCs a non-combat pet ghost dog because he was a phantom rogue. It's not raw, but it's fun. Yeah, that sounds really cool.
I would love to see actually something like steampunk inspired, but at least steampunky technology, but kind of reimagined instead of in the Victorian aesthetic, in a brutalist aesthetic.
who I guess in a way like the brutalism of like diesel punk, but with steam.
Yeah, kind of.
So you want Mad Max but clean.
Yes.
With steam.
Yeah. Just non-dirty Mad Max. That could be fun.
Well, maybe not non-dirty Mad Max, but Mad Max with coal dust instead of sand.
Okay. I think I might also be spoiled by Terran's alchemist class, which is totally non-magical. Yeah, I think so. I think you're talking about Indestructible. Yeah, that might be worth looking at, especially if people like Fulminator. I don't know if I know that one. Playing a Herringon Fulminator alchemist in the campaign, and it's amazing. Nice. Does he have that stuff listed somewhere that people can look at, or do you have to download his setting book, the PDF for it? I'm not sure where to grab that. Probably check it out on his Discord, though. Obviously, you can't cast Wish with acids and oxidation, but you can also hold your own on a fantasy stage. Yeah, I think that's the other thing that people kind of get bummed out about, is they're like, I want to cast like Fireball. Ooh, I know how explosions work, but then when you get to some of the weirder stuff like Mage Hand, it's like, how are you going to hand wave this without it just seeming like magic? It's like that's just how it is. You can definitely do some things, but I think you have to basically put in limitations yourself, and a lot of people don't want to do that, and so they just get frustrated. Because yeah, you could be like, oh, I use my giant magnets to use Mage Hand. I'm sure Turn can get you copies for free, though. I'll talk to him about it. But I thought if it's available for other people, I'd love to share it for people. But he might just not be done with it yet. My DM said that it would be because of an artificer in later campaigns to find magic items. Artifacts, okay. Is that a ninja? I think Druid is drawing a rogue of some kind.
I mean, tell me a smoke genasi or an owl-themed smoke genasi rogue is not a ninja.
That's a good point. I'm going to put some alchemical symbols on this guy.
I'm not going to put down any lines for a minute, so nobody needs to watch my drawing. I'm looking at reference. So I'm not happy with my gesture.
I need to figure out a coat or something for this guy. Can't tell me what to do. I'll look at your drawings all I want.
I didn't say you couldn't. I said you didn't have to.
Should we give him? I think we should. I think we should give him the monocles. Nothing says alchemist like Percy monocles.
Ruth. Despite the fact that Percy was not an alchemist.
You know what? We don't have enough of Ioun stones.
I agree. Although first edition Pathfinder has tons.
I just love that they can be easily ripped off your head. It's just so funny to me. You feel like if you try to describe somebody to if you tried to describe someone who had floating rocks going around their head, that would be something you would specifically say every time. and I constantly forget about it. It's like, oh yeah, you have iron stones, right? Yeah, you got 5 rocks just floating around your noggin as you walk into this town. People might want to steal them from you. Heads up. You all know about Pathfinder 2e, right? Is the gunslinger class any good? I think so. Corvus might give you another opinion as someone who has played it.
So, second edition gunslingers are kind of built more to be like support, like ranged support like characters, because a lot of the things have to deal with there's a lot of reaction based stuff that when other people go, you can do stuff to enhance things for the other players. There's still, I don't think they have like the pure damage output like say like they would have had in first edition.
Part of the benefit of them having high damage in first edition was the touch AC though. Like,
Yeah.
you never miss as a gunslinger. Like, if you miss as a gunslinger, something bad has happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if that doesn't really exist anymore. But the guns don't misfire anymore, though, do they?
So, I think only on special occasions they can actually misfire. So there's a few feats that you can take that can cause a misfire. So like alchemical shot, where you take a alchemical bomb, pour it down the barrel of your firearm, and fire. Can chance of it, if you miss the attack, it'll misfire and you get damaged instead. Because it's literally like blowing up in your face.
Yeah. So I do think your. It sounds to me like after we've talked about it and stuff that really the reason you're kind of lackluster about it is because it is not a big damage dealer.
That and I didn't really know what I was building.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, I think that is one of the things that's easy to get frustrated with in the second edition Pathfinder is it's really easy to go into any of the classes being like, I want to build this, and then not know how to build it,
Yep.
or to try to look through stuff to figure out what you want to build and not really understand what options are really truly available to you.
Yeah.
So it can be a little bit frustrating, I think, especially in terms of planning ahead.
I think there is still potential because like my ranger poppet is only powerful because of the feats I took.
Yeah.
So I feel like the gunslinger probably has those same kind of options. It's just it changes the way you play because like the grit is essentially your spells, and so you have to pick them specifically to do a type of play. And like reactionary play in Pathfinder 2nd edition is a play style. Like in the older editions, it's like everybody can do auto or attacks of opportunity. It's like, no, if you want to do that, like that's your play style. You play reactionary.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting. I really think it's interesting, but it does take a little more time and a little more planning. And even then, like after playing my character for like 2 sessions, it's like I need to redo this. Like 2 of these feats just don't work the way I thought they worked. So,
yeah.
So it's definitely can take some time. You try perfecting the recipe for the Philosopher's Stone when you have to eat fresh human brains every 8 to 12 hours. What? What did I miss?
I feel like you missed something.
No. Mr. Tentacle is looking very angry. Oh yeah, no, he's grouchy. Some people may be able to. I don't know. I have never eaten brains. Fair enough. But first Pathfinder 2 character, that's hard to say for some reason, would probably be a soul knife. Ooh. The soul knife was can you be a soul knife?
No.
Because I was going to say the soul knife was like a huge disappointment to me in 5e. But only because I wanted them to be a ninja. And like Pathfinder ninja is way more fun. Way more fun. Can mind flayers be reasoned with? I would say so.
Depends.
Depends on what you're doing.
They're hyper intelligent. It depends on what you have to bargain with.
Yeah, because
if you have something they want, then sure.
Because most of the time, the mind flayers just want to use you for components. So why would I reason with a sack of potatoes.
Yeah.
If what I want is a sack of potatoes, but if the sack of potatoes can offer me something good, yeah, I'll listen to it. Otherwise, he's just gonna eat you, turn you into a mind flayer.
Or if he's not hungry, enslave you.
Yep.
Save you for later.
Yep.
Put him in the tube.
Internship.
Yep. I came here after watching something of higher importance. Clickbait. Is this the clickbait, or what you were watching was clickbait? Did I forget to change the title again?
I'm not
Drawing
sure.
D&D characters for chat. Like, that is what we're doing.
That is
so
what we're
not
doing,
clickbait.
I am not at the
What you were watching, okay.
computer screen. So, I am making a pizza.
Nice. I should make more pizza dough. I made the barbecue chicken steam buns last week with pizza dough. It worked just fine. It was great.
Yeah, I've never made steamed dumplings before, so I had no idea what kind of bread dough you would need.
You can make like a really sticky, kind of gooey one that they use for traditional stuff, but like making steamed buns out of just any dough is fine.
Sure.
It's just a different way to cook it.
Yeah, I've made homemade, like I've made plain wonton wrappers before. That is literally just water and flour, right, and wheat flour. I just always assumed, probably because most of my cooking experience is actually from baking. I just assumed you needed something very specific, because most recipes that I'm familiar with, a la genoise, croissant dough, like, require some very specific stuff. Focaccia requires a very wet bread dough.
I like making focaccia with drier doughs. But
Really?
it just depends on how much oil and what kind of pans you have to use for it. Otherwise, it turns out like a breadstick if you do it wrong. So yeah, it just needs to be a little wetter so it doesn't do that. But off topic, I want to read the whole Cthulhu mythos by Lovecraft. You can buy like collections, which are pretty good. I bought.
Yeah, there isn't really a whole mythos that, at least that Lovecraft wrote. Most of that has been fanfic.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, really,
be aware of that.
If you go online, there's like 3 or 4 Lovecraft books I think that are like really worth reading, and then everything else you should just look for the pop culture. Like, hell, there's a really good Sherlock Holmes Cthulhu story.
Really?
Yeah, it's called, I think, what was this? This is like A Story in Pink is the Sherlock Holmes story. So this one's, I think, is something in yellow, and it's about the king in yellow.
The king, yeah.
But it's a Sherlock Holmes story, which is great.
Cool. I was not aware of that.
I'll find it. I have it in a book somewhere. I'll find the.
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle is one of the classical authors I have not gotten around to reading yet.
Oh yeah, no, he didn't write it. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's fanfic. Okay. It's fanfic, but it's really good because it's a Cthulhu Sherlock Holmes mashup. The Necronomicon, yeah. Okay, I think I'm done with this one. Oh god, I made it. Welcome in, Homework Chicken. You're doing well today.
But yeah, Lovecraft actually didn't write that much.
No, yeah, and a lot of his stuff is like, it's short stories, and a lot of it's just weird. Like, Lovecraft Country is a great introduction to it, because Lovecraft Country follows the style, like the feel of it, and it talks about specific things, but it doesn't actually like touch on any of Lovecraft's stuff. It's just like, it's a really great in-theme story. A Thri-Kreen Circle of the Stars druid with long robes. I don't know if I'd wear robes as a bug person.
Yeah, I suppose it would be would depend for me on how spiky my my forelimbs were.
I think I might go a little more. What the hell's the game called? Hollow Knight. I want to say Beetle Knight. That's not right.
Yeah. Yeah, Hollow Knight is good. Hollow Knight is good design.
Yeah, Skip Cat? Aroo! What's up?
I forgot to add my onions.
Pizza with no onions? That's no good.
Exactly.
And from an old dry
Especially
bottle. No problem.
Especially if it's a tuna pizza.
Ooh, gross.
Well, that's your opinion.
I would tend to agree, but you guys know I don't like ocean fish, so.
Google's been screwing me lately. I don't know what that means. You want to ride Skip Cat? What time is it?
Google screws everybody most of the time, so.
Sorry, I'm petting the Skip Cat. Cool. You need some tuna fish? Yeah?
Tuna.
I wonder sometimes if I would get along with Skip Cat. I feel like he and I have some very similar behaviors and some very
Okay, I'm back.
very conflicting interests.
Watch me just copy Druid's pose exactly. I draw my
Do your own.
things.
This took me 30 minutes to figure out. Do your own shit. I'm kidding.
Ooh, I like the idea of a Thry-Cream with a mask. Possibly just because I like masks, but...
I mean, how else would a Thry-Cream be able to walk into a normal town?
It's true. In a fantasy setting, I refuse to wear anything other than robes. I don't really go for non-magical folks, so I never really wear armor. Was a spellcaster always a spellcaster? Armor's the best.
As a as a druid in a fantasy setting, I would refuse to wear anything, period. So
I like the idea that guards would be yelling at you
yeah.
constantly. Just like, hey,
So I just stay out of the towns.
put some pants on. This is a civilized
It's my
place.
religion.
I'll if I'm gonna go into town, I'll wear a fig leaf.
It's my religion. I don't think is a good excuse for the town's guards who don't give a shit. I'm being oppressed. Throw them in jail.
I do often actually think it would, like, what would modesty standards be like in a society that wasn't predominantly influenced by a religion based out of a desert?
Is there a brothel across the street from where you're being arrested? That's the question.
I don't know.
Throw him in the brothel.
I'm not going to pay for sex. I don't pay attention to such things.
Well, I mean, I think that answers your question. Is what are the modesty standards of this place?
Right.
Do they have a brothel? Are people constantly walking around naked, or is this like the Church of Sarenrae is the main benefactor of the city, and it's a nice set up city, and there is no brothel, or it's off somewhere else? All I'm saying is, if you're naked
I
in
don't
front of a red light district, people might not care as much as, say, you being naked in a library. Their rules change based on location.
Yeah. Or and also depending on how much people know about sanitation and whether or not you're naked in the kitchen.
Yeah. You can't.
Yeah, no.
You can't.
I'm aware I'm aware there's places where it's inappropriate, and I just wouldn't go there. Or I would put on pants.
Pants.
Oh, in the kitchen, I'd put on a shirt too.
You don't want
Nobody wants your nipple hair in their soup.
Yep.
or being splattered on said nipple by grease.
Yeah, nope. Do not cook bacon shirtless, people. Not a good idea.
Someone who has fried sausage, while shirtless, don't do it.
Cowards.
It's the same with blacksmithing and blowing glass.
Yeah.
Do you want to wear the?
Do you want to wear a shirt, or do you want to lose all your body hair? Those are your options.
Personal protective equipment is a thing.
Answer for the week.
Drew would agree with you.
I think I'm going to change the music. Hold on a second.
Okay, sounds
We
good.
always get to this weird crystal song that I feel like it's just unnecessary.
My favorite thing about history is that the Romans thought the people to the north were barbarians, and part of the definition of, or at least part of the reason that they derided barbarians is because they wore pants, and they maintained that position right up until the fact where they tried to invade the north in the middle of winter and realized that when your balls get sucked back up into your abdomen because of how cold it is, it's a good idea to wear pants.
Yes. Togas do not make good winter wear.
No. Anyway, all I'm saying is cultural perceptions are weird. And as the world gets hotter, maybe everybody should wear less clothes.
The world's not getting hotter. Well, it is. On average. But the cold places are getting colder.
Yes, no.
I will wear more clothes, thank you.
For someone like me who wants to live in California or Arizona or Nevada or somewhere. Oh no, I said it. I pronounced it Nevada. I can't
live there now.
No.
It's the rules.
Nevada?
Did you say Nevada?
Yes, I said Nevada.
You definitely can never go there.
Is that a...
Don't ever want to go there.
That's fine.
There's just Las Vegas there.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Las Vegas, except that it's awful?
It's the West's Florida. So what?
Exactly.
I've been to Vegas, I think, twice. Maybe once, maybe only once. I feel like I've been there twice. Either way, I saw the Blue Man Group there. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I've never gone gambling in Vegas, but I've driven through and stopped for like a rest stop there many times.
Does mage armor obscure nipples and danglies?
Fine.
What?
I'm pretty sure mage armor, the spell, doesn't.
I don't think it obscures anything.
Obscure? Yeah, I don't think it obscures anything.
You could. I guess you could have it function as like a sensor bar. California is a nightmare and a dream. Depends on where you go. Yeah, that's true.
True. I do not want to live in LA. I know that.
Just bursts into flames, going on a morning jog.
I don't particularly want to live in the Bay Area either.
I think the big problem about you using the U.S. as like this state sucks is most states are massive.
Yes, and everywhere has a place that sucks.
Yeah,
everywhere has at least one place that sucks.
Idaho has a few places that suck, but it also has a lot of places that are like beautiful and great, which are now being slowly filled by Californians. So I don't know how to feel about that, but
I would. My only comment with that is that really only applies to you all out west. At farther east, yeah, no, where we have smaller states.
Well, I was going to say the same thing about Nevada. Like, Nevada's kind of just one place. It's just Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It's just Las Vegas.
I mean,
and a whole
there's-
bunch of dirt.
That's
Isn't there
not
like Carter
true.
Lake? I think
mean,
that's the only other thing
there
I
are
know.
more than one place in Nevada, but like, well, you got Reno, you got Las Vegas, and you got
Cultural, yeah.
Rhodes. Those are the three places in Nevada that I know of.
Roads.
And roads, yeah. Just one big
Culture.
road.
Yeah, culturally, you have Las Vegas, and you have farm, like rural, desert farm community. And that's it.
Like, so Oliver's saying like driving cross country doesn't really happen in England. It's not big enough for that. Yeah, in Idaho, like, I used to drive 6 hours every weekend to go to, like, if I had to go home for some reason from school, it was a 6 hour drive one way and then a 6 hour drive back.
Yeah.
And that was fine. Like, I was used to that. That was kind of the longest drive I did. Most of the time it was like 2 or 3 hour drives to like go see my family or something. But
Yeah, it's unlikely, especially in the western United States, for you to ever like leave your house and not expect to drive at least 20 minutes to get to where you're going.
Or more.
yeah,
Or-
it was,
yeah,
it was
no,
really funny.
that's
Like,
why I said at least.
when I was a kid, it was like going to the store was a 15-20 minute drive.
Yeah.
And here it's a 15-20 minute drive, but I'm going like 5 blocks. Like, it just takes so long to get there.
Density.
The distances are it's a shift. But there's a lot more freeway here, so like trying to go 3 to 5 miles here is a process to get on the freeway, and then a huge freeway, and then off the freeway, and then back to where you need to get. Whereas in Idaho, it's
Yeah.
like you hardly ever get on the freeway, unless you're getting on the freeway for hours. Like, it's just like, oh, I'm gonna drive 2 hours to the next town over.
Yeah.
Where I live, 20 minutes is considered a long drive. Yeah, I drive 6 hours. Yep, I can be 6 hours being in a different country. Yeah.
For us, like, to go to like a good grocery store is at least a 45-minute drive.
Yeah. Yeah, I lived near the Boise Mall. I think I was 20 or 30 minutes away from that when I was a kid. And my cousins who lived in McCall was like a 90-minute hour drive. It was a 90-minute drive now because of the road conditions, but when I was a kid, it was like a 2-hour drive. Because of just the speed limits and road conditions. And so they used to come down every now and again to like go to the mall. And I'm like, you guys drive 2 hours to go to the mall? Like, there's nothing cool at the mall. But like, that's only because I lived there, right? It's like I can go there and get clothes whenever I need it, even though it's a 20-30 minute drive. But yeah, for my cousins, it's like, yeah, we need new pants, we got to drive to Boise because that's the only place that sells pants.
All right, I'm ready for my next one.
Hit me.
10.
Oh, 10. Let's see what we got. As someone who picks up hot rocks around campfires, do it. And sadly had a shirt on. What? I don't know what that means. Oh, that's probably when you're talking about oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've lost the list. There it is. An elf bard, College of Spirits, uses a cello, harp, and a flute. Elf bard of spirits.
Elf Bard of Spirits. Okay.
Yes. The Ouija board bard.
Skip Cat, you can't just sleep all the time. Come here. What's up? What's up, buddy?
People have told me that before. I disregarded them too.
I have 2 malls and the nearest city with 40-ish minutes. Yeah. Well, is that like a strip mall or like a big mall? 'Cause here in Seattle, we have We have non-stop shops from coast to coast, but like I think we have 2 malls here. South Center and what's the other one? There's one in Tequila too. There's a lot. There's a lot here. In Boise, it was the Boise Town Square Mall, and that was it. And then I remember when the Outlet Mall opened. It was off in the desert. It was really weird. And then if you didn't want to do that, you had to drive all the way to Nampa. What are you doing, Cat? Ugh, so fat. So fat. Not as big as those in London, but pretty big. I hate going to the mall. So many people. It is really weird. Thinking about like where I live now compared to where I lived when I was growing up. Especially the same thing with like there are states that have less people than the county I live in.
Montana.
Montana, yep.
Wyoming.
Wyoming. Both have less people that live in my county. And it's like it blows my mind. Because when I was growing up in Idaho, like living in Meridian and Boise, like that was the most populous place in the state. And it was, less than 100,000 people. Wait, what was this supposed to be? Is this a sorcerer or a bard?
I'm doing the bard, you're doing whatever else.
Hang on, let me.
Try creating something in robes.
I'll check the posts for you. Circle of Stars Druid.
Whoops. We can fix this.
Dang.
It's the robes that threw me off.
Circle of Stars Druid is kind of like a sorcerer in some ways.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him more antlers. Wait, the stars is the constellation thing. Why do people keep picking this?
Yeah.
I don't understand this druid.
It's fun to play.
Is it?
Yeah.
Fuck nature. I'm gonna be a constellation.
It's like a divination based druid.
I also can get
Bugs
recastings of guiding bolt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Morbid Sniper, that is a great question. I made a whole video for it. Go check it out.
Identify as a collection of stars.
I'm a big fan of the pop culture Wendigos. They are. I mean, like the traditional ones, which we don't speak of, are super creepy.
Yeah. And we do not speak out of them out of respect for the First Nation.
But the pop culture ones are gross, and I love it. And they're really more similar to like frost ghouls. Is really what they do.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's the tradition I go for. Sorry, I said that weird. That's the way I drew it over the traditional. What I meant to say. I like the original. Yeah, it's a really good story. It's a really good story. Really good folklore. I think some of the best like scary stories are the ones that like transcend time, like that are told over generations. Because only the good parts keep being retold. There's a book by the First Nation author of the family's version of their family's versions of the stories, and they're awesome. Well, that would be awesome. I would love to read that. Elven hair, that is a... Shouldn't even write that sentence. No, skinwalkers are terrifying. Like, bear none. Like, that would be my opinion of it.
I just wish creepypasta teenagers would leave those things alone. It's like, not your culture. Stop stealing it.
I mean, that's... You say that not knowing who wrote it. So, that's part of it. Like, I won't discriminate against people telling stories. And this may be just a little touchy topic, but like...
Well, there are plenty of Native Americans from that culture who are asking people to stop spreading those fake stories about it. So,
yeah, and I think maybe that's a better way to look at it, like the fake stories of people kind of rewriting their own narrative. But like, I also think, because I've talked to people that were basically saying like, if you retelling a story is important, regardless of who is told, as long as it's told with earnest. And so, yeah, the people that are kind of the pop culture bastardization of some of those stories is kind of a bummer, but they've become their own things in their own right. So it's a hard topic, and it's definitely something worth talking about. Like, the more you know about it, which maybe that's what you're about to say, Druid. I think.
No, I was going to say just morally ambiguous.
Yeah. Skinwalkers are a type of witch.
Well, I mean, that
not the person to ask. I'm not the person to ask about that. I don't know about that.
Yep.
Yeah, I used to run into a lot of issues with. I was working on a couple of different projects with some of the First Nation people up in Alaska. Some of the indigenous people up there, and I had a really hard time getting information about the stories I was trying to develop. And I kept stepping on people's toes because anytime I made an assumption, it was usually wrong, because the information that a lot of the stories I grew up with was wrong. So it took a lot of like reiteration and recommunication and like finding the people who knew the stories well enough that they could kind of describe to me what I was supposed to be doing. And it was really, really tough. But for most of the storytellers I talk to, sharing the stories is important. And it's a matter of understanding the principle behind it. Like, the people that I talked to that were specifically saying like, stop using the Wendigo as a monster in storytelling. And this is what I was trying to get to, Corvus. Sorry about that. It wasn't me trying to shut you down. Is a lot of the people that were talking about it were basically saying like they're using it as this fantastical creature that is demonized in itself, instead of talking about why that story was told, like the importance of the story itself. And so there's that then becomes latched onto by a lot of people that are trying to defend, hey, don't appropriate this, that's wrong. It's like, if you do it wrong, it is wrong. But the story itself should be told. It's just a matter of how you're telling it and why you're telling it. So, so it is. It's really complicated. And I think a lot of people have also said like, we don't need you to defend us, but at the same time, there are people saying that like everyone should be defending this kind of thing, and it's complicated. It's too complicated, and so it's really hard for me to just be like, you're wrong, I'm wrong. It should be an open conversation when we talk about things like this, especially things that are specifically from a culture. Like the Wendigo is very much northern Canada, and there are very specific First Nation stories that should be told for that purpose by the people who came up with that story. But the tradition of the Wendigo coming down through Canada into North America through a lot of like the 1500s and beyond, that has changed. Like that story has evolved from there. So they're very different things now. And yeah, the sad part, these storytellers who need to tell their stories because their communities isn't interested in the folklore. And I don't know if that's true. There's a lot of really cool native TikTokers out there sharing the stories and stuff. So I'm following a couple of them. Your culture and your folklore, religious or superstition, all of those which have been used to control and oppress in every culture. Yeah, and I mean, really, that's the thing. With cultural appropriation, I think, in general, a lot of it is either done unrespectfully, or it's done as a means of belittling or oppressing, right? Like that's when those things are bad. Like enjoying someone else's culture or enjoying culture in general can be very nice. And like there's a lot of like right-wing comedian or commentators who will like go to Mexico and like dress up in a sombrero and be like, hey, you think this is cool, right? See, cultural appropriation is totally fine because these guys are fine with it. It's like, that's not the same thing. That's not at all the same thing as just saying like, because you're a certain culture, you can't wear another culture's thing. It's just like, you need to be respectful about things like that. That's the big thing. Don't be an asshole. So Morbid Sniper, never mind.
Yeah.
I know that's supposed to, yeah. I'm not a huge, I guess maybe I don't know how to say it. I'm maybe am or I'm not superstitious in different ways. I've often thought of myself as being an agnostic deist. And so when it comes to things like specifically like skinwalkers, like the lore around them is really creepy and scary, and like you're not supposed to talk about them because it summons them, and it's just like that's dark. It's dark and I don't like it. So I generally am pretty cautious with that stuff on the off chance that superstition is viable, you know? Like I grew up super Catholic, and Catholics are all a lot about weird superstitious stuff, but they don't talk about it. It's just like, oh yeah, ghosts are totally real. We're not going to talk about that. Like the devil is absolutely real. Don't talk about the devil. It was bad. Don't do that. So there's all kinds of weird stuff. Demons, exorcisms, like the Catholic Church is into some weird shit. And I think it's kind of rubbed off on me as an adult.
All churches get into some weird shit.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, the only difference between a church and a cult, ultimately, really, in terms of definition, is congregation size.
I really want to play Cult of the Lamb.
It's really. Oh, I want to say it's really funny, but oh boy, is it kind of dark.
I saw there's a guy that does YouTube like music, writes songs about different games, and he did one about that, and I was like, that's really funny. I should play that. The song is dark though, which is good.
Yeah, I really like it. It reminds me a lot of like, I guess kind of spiritually, it reminds me a lot of The Binding of Isaac, which I love. And what else? There was another game. Nope, I'm not going to remember it. Never mind.
That's fine. Yeah, Morbid Sniper. Sorry, I either misunderstood or misread what you were talking about. So, no problem. That Sky Guy, hello, welcome in. I mean, here on the coast, we have some groups with cultural divides. A lot of young people saying no connection to their past, so it becomes a grandma, I get bored with these stories. Interesting. Yeah, and that might just be part of the like the sad fact of like vocal narratives. Like there's a ton of folklores that are completely skewed from their original sources. Because we have books that are written down, so it's like, oh yeah, 1,000 years ago, that's what this was. Now it's something totally different, and like that's fine. Like that's how things evolve, and that's how stories change. But when you have cultures that have
when you have a living culture,
that are especially when they're smaller, like those kind of stories can get lost and it's sad. So it's hard to. And that was part of the reason, like when I was at the University of Idaho, we were working with communities to like, how can we create, take these totally auditory narratives and save them somehow. And part of the thing they were doing was like, oh, what if we put them into a digital storytelling, so people could basically sit down in an immersive environment and have the story be told to them. And that was, I worked for a little bit on that project. Eventually got moved somewhere else. Started working on fish. But 2 or 3 minutes ago, I was searching information on Hero Point system for Pathfinder for my D&D game. I found your video on it, and I saw that you're streaming. Nice. Yeah, I'm glad you found that. Hero Points are great. I love Hero Points. We need to use them more. They're supposed to be used more, and they just never are.
I like how in 2nd edition they're kind of more integral.
Yeah.
I still forget to use them all the damn time, for which I apologize to both you, Rook, and you, Corvus.
Totally fine.
I forget to use them.
Reroll. Let's retcon the whole last section. Just burn all the points. Burn down the school. All right. Thanks for the video, Random Fan. Yeah, no problem, George. Finally started playing D&D campaign a month ago. It took forever to find a group. Nice.
Yeah, it can. It can. I'm glad you found a group, though. I hope it works out well for you.
I made another short video yesterday, 2 days ago, about flying. And as I was making it, I'm like, man, I have like 3 more minutes worth of information I want to put. So maybe I'll just make a whole video about it. I might try to finish that up today and then release that tomorrow. But I'm not sure if I want to use the puppets for my long form videos, so I might just have to animate it.
Oof, you know how much work that is, though.
I'm getting faster. At it. The puppets are really funny, though. Fun to play with.
I like the puppets. I think you're doing a good job with them.
All right, I don't know how to make this more druidic, without just giving him like antlers.
Or a leaf necklace.
Do that. What is iconically a druid thing that a druid of the stars would have?
The druid of the stars specifically, I don't know.
Oh, whoops, I missed some stuff here. Speaking of cult and religions, as far as I remember, the Church of Cthulhu is big enough to be considered a religion. Interesting.
That does not surprise me.
Isn't it true that stories change over time? They do, yeah. Stories do change over time. And that's just it's a question of, is it worth saving an original concept of a story or letting it being a living thing? And those are two very, I don't think either of those are wrong. Those are two very different ways to
part of the point of it is, I think, that the general population is not the people who should have the responsibility of deciding that. Yeah. It's the culture that created the stories that should, because it's their story, especially if it's wrapped up in their religious beliefs. But since it's their culture, they have the right to decide where they want it to go.
Yep, that's a good way to look at it.
Think of it as cultural intellectual property right. I had intended to make this elf a woman, but now they went pretty boy very quickly.
Manage thirst through compulsive strong attacks and cannibalistic bait. What are we talking about here?
When to go?
Could be talking about a bit. I'm not sure if its current Pathfinder version is that I need. I'm not sure if the current Pathfinder version is what I need. I'm thinking of rewarding system just to be an inspiration rule. But each session you start with 1 dice. You can have up to 3 of those. So yeah, the inspiration is kind of a. I was not a fan of the inspiration because it's such a small bonus. Like giving somebody a D4 is essentially like worse advantage, and giving someone a D8 is on average advantage. So I think I really like.
Well, they might be talking specifically about how Abria Iyengar does it, which is it's a free D20 roll, basically. Like she's basically saying you get inspiration, and it's more like giving out a free luck point than using the bardic inspiration.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay, I like that, and that's kind of more. I feel like that's when I roll hero points, that's how Pathfinder Second Edition works. You start every time you start a session, you get a hero point. Have up to 3 of them. That is one of the options. Reroll a die. Yeah. It's just like whatever you're doing, reroll it. It's fine. But the thing I dislike about that being the only use for it, which inspiration is usually just like here's a die, you can reuse it, or here's a D8, you can add it to whatever, is you can't do things that are a little more flexible. Like I'd like to take my turn out of order, or can I use a hero point to just try something weird out of the rules of the game? I very much like hero points to allow the players the ability to interject to a story. Just like, I want to put some narrative flavor on this. Like I really want to jump in here and do that. I've done things like at one point in time, one of my characters, we killed the boss and we like kicked him over this cliff down to his army below. And I was like, can I use a hero point to throw my battle standard into him from up here on the cliff? I just want to chuck it. I wanted to like impale him on the way down. And the DM was like, yeah, do that. And so I did. I burned a hero point to just, I wanted to take control of the narrative for that brief second, and just for style points be like, we are the most badass mofos that exist right now. Fear us. Yeah, like it could, and like an intimidation roll against an army, like that's a great use of a hero point. I love that kind of stuff. So
I do like that the hero points have, for me, in my GM experience, mostly been used for my players to not go down in one shot when I have been maybe overzealous in picking aggressive monsters and one shot somebody who did not have any means of getting back up. So I like to use them in that way because I appreciate the insurance policy. Because as much as I pretend like I'm a hardcore DM who doesn't pull their punches, and I do try not to pull my punches, it has never been my goal. Sorry, it has only once been my goal to TPK the party.
Also, I hated how old wolf-like humanoids say Germans get reduced to werewolf when they have 60,000 different types of some. Yeah, I mean, like, shape-shifting in general is kind of a ubiquitous thing across a lot of different cultures. And once again, like, the pop culture werewolf is the thing that we mostly talk about. And I think that's totally fine. And that's why, like, when we do D&D and movies and TV things, like, taking the localized pop culture reference is totally fine. And then once you start getting into like very specific versions, you have to start treating those with a little bit of different respect. So when you start asking me like, so Morbid, you asked me like, do you think Wendigos are real? I don't know. Like that's my stance on things. I don't know. And out of respect, I just try not to talk about them as much as like they would be in that respect. So do I think ice werewolves exist? No, because that's a pop culture made up thing. Do I know if Wendigos exist? I don't know. And I just not my place.
Like there is specifically no physical description of a Wendigo, right? Like, and I think that's probably for a reason.
Yep, not supposed to talk about it, so I don't. I've made more upgrades of inspiring systems in the hero points. You get one if the session starts. Only the DM gives you those points. Up to 3 in total. Use to reroll a d20, reset every game. Yeah, so that's just basically sounds like actually a downgraded version of the hero point system from Pathfinder. So if it works for you, great. Like, do that.
Yeah.
Keep doing that. I really, like I said, I really like giving them a lot more power than the book does. So I'm on team hero points. So yeah, I think I'm done with this bug man. I'm gonna reroll, do the next one. I rolled an 8. A green hag changeling investigator that uses her claws as her main weapon. Nice. All right. Green hag changeling, huh? What does a green hag look like?
Ugly.
Beefy.
Ugly. Are they beefy?
Yeah.
Do they have the changeling properties of like giant eyes and stuff?
So they're referring to like Pathfinder changelings, so they're like half hags.
Gotcha. Okay. Not doppelgangers.
No.
That elf's jawline is sharper than my kitchen knives.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I do have blunt kitchen knives, though.
Yeah. In at least in Pathfinder, I'm not 100% sure about 5e because I don't GM that as much. But in Pathfinder, green hags look like this, and they have strength. They're posted in the Discord.
What weapons do you use in D&D? I'm a big spear fan. I like spears. I like javelins. I like lances. I generally end up using like a longsword, though. Oh, that is gnarly. Okay.
Yeah. In 5th edition and kind of just D&D in general, they're more of like deceptive hags. They do a lot of glamours and deception stuff.
Interesting. Okay.
The strength hag for 5th edition is the Annis hag.
Ah, gotcha. In your research for lore and artwork, what is the oddest, weirdest culture you've observed? Let me think about that for a minute. Until I've got your drawing characters, can I suggest a monster that I don't know how to represent visually? Yeah, you can do that.
Totally.
Rapier.
All monsters are people too.
Man, I don't know. A lot of the things I use for my stories are like Brother Grimm stories or like Gygax inspired stuff is usually pretty silly. Because Gygax is just
off the wall.
Yeah. Like a lot of the monsters are just like he finds concepts first and then lore to fit. Right? like Gorgons and
Yep. I was going to say like the Gorgon.
Like the Gorgon.
It's like, though, I guess to give him a bit of like break from that thing was he did get from like a medieval bestiary which described them as being Gorgons. So book was wrong.
Which is that's not surprising at all, by the way. A lot of old descriptions are wrong. Doesn't mean they don't make a lot of like fun lore for your world, but
I'm trying to think of some of the weirder creatures I've discovered.
I really like Zorns, which are they're earth elemental things that they kind of look like a walking three-legged cauldron with arms, but they eat gemstones. They're intelligent creatures that can speak.
I gotta say, I think
XORN, I think.
Is that like a lore-based creature or is that a D&D based creature?
It's a D&D based creature. I'm not sure if it's lore specific, but it does have lore attached to it.
Sure.
They are intelligent creatures from the plane of Earth.
I think the thing that probably got me the most riled up and like I yelled about the most, were the satyrs. Because I didn't realize that they just had like permanent erections.
Yeah.
I just thought that was really funny, and I kind of lost my
Yeah.
shit. That's probably the weirdest. That's probably the weirdest thing I've observed while
Yeah.
searching.
It's kind of funny that OG like depictions of satyrs was they're not goat men, but like horse men. They had like donkey parts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super.
Donkey ears and horse tails.
Yep.
And yes, giant permanent erections.
Mhm.
It was actually kind of weird. I've been doing a little bit of research on this, actually, but like the way satyrs were depicted has changed. Like it changed a lot over centuries. It's not just like a bastardization that we do to make them look like fawns. There is art where they do have like goat bits, goat legs, goat tails, etc. Like legit art from the classical Greek period. It's just like the way they were depicted changed constantly, and very much like the Wendigo discussion we've been having. The important thing about them is not how their physical description. The important thing about them was what they represented, which was that they were masculine focused nature spirits. They represented virility and drunkenness and excess and like kind of this wild nature. The wild kind of hungry appetite
Bacchanalia.
based. Yeah, they represent appetite.
Of any type.
Sure. Yeah.
Pretty much, yes.
Spears seem complete. Oh, sorry. You finished?
No. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Spears seem to be completely overpowered in real life. The benefit of a sword with extra range and also throwing capabilities. And your enemies can't use it after you throw it because the blade would bend. There are, I don't know if it was Skullgrim or not. I was talking about that. Like the sword's actually kind of crappy. Like,
Yeah.
the sword is a backup weapon.
It's a general use backup weapon.
Whereas the spear just has generally been effective for thousands, if not millions, of years.
Yes.
Yeah, because I mean, like, extend your reach, poke something, done. That's all you really need. And then everything else has kind of been based around that. Like the things that allow you, what the hell are they called? The sticks that let you throw spears farther. That's cool. Atlatls, yeah. And then moving into like bows are just a way to project a spear farther. And then shields to counter arrows, armor. Like it's just a progression, but all based around the spear. So yeah, spears are great.
Yeah.
Really love them. And the ones that break when you throw them were designed to do that. Versus there are spears that can be thrown continuously. But that's another form of, escalation. So yeah. What are you drawing right now? I'm drawing a green hag with claws. How do I suggest a creature design? I have an idea. I mean, generally what we do is we ask for the race and class of your D&D character, which if you have a creature, that's a thing. But if I don't necessarily want to just be doing people's homebrew monsters, because that can take me a long time, and that's really more of like a commissioned thing. Maybe we can do like a homebrew monster race, but I really want to focus more around like people's D&D characters. So that would be my preference. That is not how arms work. That's nothing how arms work. What was it supposed to be? I forgot already.
Investigator.
Investigator. Okay. I'm going to change this pose then. I'm going to go really high collar. I'm going to do that weird demon slayer thing where she's got her like ponytail knotted together, braided together. I think that's interesting. And we'll give her a big old coat. What if Dick Tracy was the Hulk?
I feel like he'd be more interesting than Bruce Banner. Because I feel like Dick Tracy would... Dick Tracy, I feel like, is a little bit more willing to take risks.
Swords are spears. Spears are god weapons. Sword got partial popularity because of ceremonial uses in a well symbol. Yeah. Okay, I have a character.
Yeah.
Do I need to pay? No, if you just want to suggest a character and you're following the rules of one sentence, not fan art, etc., you can just post it in the chat and I'll add it to the list. And then that list will carry on today and for Friday. But if you do want to do a commission thing, you can talk to me in Discord about it. 3-word monster description. Let's go. Yeah, I mean that could be something we do one week if that's what people want.
That could turn out really cool, actually. Like, especially considering how cool one sentence short stories can be.
Yeah, I mean we could try that. Maybe I'll do that next week.
Y'all feel clever enough to do that?
I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of like himbo cowman, and that's it. That's all it says.
That's just a minotaur. That's not your OC. That existed.
But he's real nice.
Oh, sure. I'm sure.
His name's Donick the Bedgehog. I'm sorry. I shouldn't make fun of people's OCs. I can't draw claws today. Something happened. I can't draw claws. You know what it is? I think it's I've been going for like 3 hours. I probably need to take a quick break and just
Yeah, probably.
So let's see. I can call firsties. You gotta get it on the list. Just want to say though, these art pieces are absolutely remarkable. Thank you, Oliver. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I also appreciate that.
Flying a possum spider. See, this is the problem we're getting into.
Yeah,
It's just gonna be a mismatch of random shit instead of like thought out monsters.
well, look, Rook, to be fair, pretty much every single monster is a chimera of some kind.
Nothing is scarier than a flaming clown spider. That's all I'm gonna say. If you haven't seen that video, you should go watch it. It's pretty great. But yeah.
Or a horse-sized ill wolf abomination.
Let's see. If I can make another Game Grumps pull, scrawny clown snatch.
Gross. My point being is the reason I have the one sentence description is one, to keep people from like giving me 5 paragraphs of their characters, which is fine. It's just I can't draw that. I don't have time to draw that. But also because I want people to think about their characters. Like I want people to give me real characters instead of just like rolling dice on a random. Because like if I just needed a random dice generator, like I could do that. I want to draw people's characters. Like that's really what I want. So if people are wanting to see something I'm drawing, that's great. Like I'm totally fine with that. Don't get me wrong. Don't stop posting. But just know my intent is I want to get people's characters drawn out. So I feel like you don't really care about the character you're trying to get me to draw. Let other people have their time. Because I want to draw cool stuff for people.
I'm ready for my next one. Are we still rolling d20s?
Yes, just re-roll a 19 or 20.
Okay. Natural one.
Sentient mayonnaise ooze. That's funny.
Well,
I don't want to draw that, but it's funny.
Yeah.
A wizard school dropout. Now freelancer bodyguard who travels. Bodyguard for traveling wizards and magic users in general. Interesting. Okay.
It was a great mouser.
Yeah, like it doesn't actually have a class. It just says a wizard school dropout. So level 1 wizard, level 9 fighter. I'm not sure how that would work.
I guess.
Dealer's choice.
Wizard school dropout.
Yeah, there's
That's probably in reference to what I said.
Sorry, go ahead, Corvus.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's kind of the premise of a sword and sorcery character called the Grey Mouser. He was like an apprentice to a wizard. Wizard gets murked. He becomes a dashing rogue and thief with like 2 or 3 cantrips that he could cast.
That's pretty awesome.
If we were using, and he travels around with a barbarian like type character.
It's also a pretty good. Sorry, yeah. I was gonna say it's a pretty good storyline for how to get the Eldritch Invocation feat.
Yeah,
I think that's a good way to do it too.
Was there a species or race or whatever
I don't think
associated with
so.
that?
Nope. Super vague.
Okay.
Good backstory, super vague descriptions. No offense.
Well, wizard school dropout, at least melodiously, reminded me of Grease. Beauty school dropout. So I guess I'm gonna draw this person as, what was the group? The Pink Ladies?
That's awesome. Proceeds to drop 12 character stories on backgrounds and descriptions of flying opossum spiders. Fair enough. Fair enough. If you've thought about it and thought it through, I can't argue with that. My cat has joined me. Nice. I cast Meteor Fist. My arcane ward blocks all. Why are you running? Punched in the face.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
I feel like I might have just accidentally drawn that girl from Demon Slayer, but as like a zombie.
Nothing wrong with that.
Investigator. Man, you know what? I'm not drawing a trench coat. I'm drawing something cool. Take it back. I gotta get the shape first, though. Oop, and everything just broke. He's a traitor. Gotta be careful with those cat claws. Character I requested for the stream is a magic teacher. Well, why did you flunk this kid? Now she's gotta be a bodyguard.
Yeah. In a gang. Because now she's from Greece, because my brain is stupid.
The magical greasers.
Don't kill Pony Boy.
Don't kill Pony Boy. What?
Yeah, it's, oh god.
If,
I didn't
yeah,
remember the name of the book that's from. It was a middle.
neither do I, but I had to read it too.
Yeah, okay. The socks versus the greasers. Heck no. That was elementary school. Never mind. That was like 5th grade for me.
Yeah, I think the same for me.
Well, Rook said trench coats aren't cool. Time to go Twitch and cancel him.
Yep. Hashtag cancel Rook.
You didn't say trench coats weren't cool, did you? I thought you said you didn't want to draw it. Just said you didn't want to draw one.
I think I said I wanted to draw something cool instead.
Gotcha.
People can infer whatever they want from that, but
No, yeah, you're definitely canceled.
here's
I guess
my
we can't
here's
be
my
canceled.
argument. Here's my argument for why trench coats aren't cool. 15-year-old me really wanted a trench coat. Ergo, probably not that cool. So,
Maybe depends on the style of trench coat. I don't know.
maybe.
Also, because I had to look it up too, because it was bugging me all day. It's called The Outsiders.
Yep, okay, I read that.
Right, yep.
Am I able to put them
Apparently-
right here? Yeah, you can just post it in the chat as long as it's appropriate. Trench coats are cool. I don't know. I draw them enough, so there must be something. There must
You
have
just gotta
something
add
going
enough
for 'em.
buckles to them.
Yeah, that's true. Buckles are the way to go. I do like the idea of an investigator hack. I mean, I do like a duster. I like a good duster, which is technically a trench coat. But it's like a cowboy trench coat. Slight differences. 27-year-old me has a fur-lined, slim-waist trench coat, so I can be a vampire lord character. See, there you go. I'm also a leather trail duster to go with my liver, right? See, that I'm totally down with. That Gamma, that's my. I would wear that all the time. It's not a trench coat because it's made of wool and very warm. See, that sounds like an old school one. The things I like about trench coats are the mantles and like the super high collars. Those are super cool. The thing I don't like about trench coats is drawing them because it's hard.
That's the real issue.
It is the real issue.
Because I was going to say
how easy it was to hide a sawn-off shotgun inside one.
Yep.
Because I was going to say the iconic for the investigator wears a trench coat and it looks pretty damn cool.
It really is about style, right? You gotta wear the right thing underneath it.
Yep.
In order for it to be appropriate, and you gotta wear it in the right setting. You just gotta make it appropriate.
I remember when I was young, I was this is way back, like I think probably it was like 17, 18-year-old me. I was trying to buy this very specific like bomber jacket from a place in the mall that was like $400 because at the time like $400 was an infinite amount of money.
Yeah.
And now that leather jacket is like $1,200, and I was like, oh, I should have bought it, years and years and years ago. My dress sense is that of a 1935. Yeah.
My dress sense is that of a Neanderthal, so
I'm a bit of a gun nut because of Idaho, because that's how Idaho is. But lever action rifle is like my go-to like thing of beauty. Like I want like one room of my house should have like Strider sword because it's one of the most beautiful broadswords or longswords ever made.
No argument there.
On a wall, and then in the other rooms of my house should have like lever action rifles above the doors. That would be awesome.
When you mean Strider sword, do you mean like Fellowship or Return to King sword?
Return to the King.
Okay. It's King sword.
Yeah. Shoot, I can't remember the name of it.
Narsil becomes Anduril.
Anduril, okay.
Dig yourself in names.
Revolver rifles. I've seen one. I've never been able to shoot one.
They are super dangerous. They are very much not great designs.
Because they blow up?
Yeah, actually they do.
All right.
It's like, oh, it makes such good sense to do this, and then it's just like, oh no, it does.
Dang it! All right, I've changed my mind. I like that coat.
The one I shared.
Yeah. I like the sleeves, like the half clumpy sleeves.
Like kind of where they're sort of like buttoned up.
Yeah. I super dig that.
Also, like he's like attached like a padded shoulder portion.
I'm actually known as worked with my trench coat because it's my favorite coat of choice. She looks like a saloon performer.
I just think of every time I think of saloon performer, I think of Wild Wild West, the movie, and Gunsmoke.
Gunsmoke's a good one.
Miss Kitty. It was like when she owned the bar.
see now.
I'm struggling with this arm. I just looked up what a dump truck is. Like on Urban Dictionary or like an actual dump truck? The flippin' style. One day I'm diesel punk AF, next 50s punk, 90s punk. I've worn the same shirt for like 15 years. My style does not change.
So, what I'm getting from this, again, is you're just like
You're just a
love
punk.
and then you're just a punk.
Yeah. 23-year-old half-elf, a swarm keeper with a sickle. It keeps rats. All right, what's going on the list?
I think in the newest version of the Nutcracker, I think they made a racking literally just like a swarm of rats in a trench coat.
Funny.
I wore lots of polos in high school. That's what I wore.
Have you done any more Dead Cells stuff? Not in a long time. I mean, when I started doing when I did the video for the Dead Cells, that was kind of before I knew what I wanted to do with this channel. That was just me doing art, so I was just doing fan art. So I also did like some Overwatch sketches and stuff like that. I got to meet the guys that made Dead Cells. That was fun. Went to a con and talked to them a little bit.
That's cool.
They were pretty cool. I made on Tandem Gamers, we did a meat kebab. The Dead Cells meat kebab video. That was fun. I showed the guys that. They're like, that's awesome. But yeah, Dead Cells is a fun game. My intellect, Mac 11, nice.
I decided I think I would have liked Grease a lot better if all the pink ladies carried broadswords.
It's a full out of the same clothes from high school. Oh, you have a Model 99? That's amazing. My uncles had a lot of like really beautiful old lever action rifles and revolvers and cowboy action guns, and I've never been able to like begin collecting them myself. And now that I don't live in Idaho anymore, it's harder to do that because there's not a gun store on every corner. But yeah, I also don't have a lot of places to go shooting. Whereas in Idaho, I could literally drive like 10 minutes to a quarry and shoot. It was super easy. So, yeah, I really like the aesthetics and the feel of those kind of old school stuff. I think I got to get away from this character. It's kind of just getting away from me. The thing with investigators is they just have tons and tons of crap.
Yeah.
They're just like always prepared.
Because I'm Batman.
How far did you get in Dead Cells? I beat Dead Cells with, man. The game has changed massively since the last time I played it. Like, I'm trying to think of the last things they added. I got Dead Cells like when it came out, and it was still in like its first build state, and they've since added so many things to it that I don't know. I don't even know where to start. But I did beat it back in the day, way back in the day. More into blades and airsoft. I need repack rounds for my Lagu. Too sensitive to buy pre-made ammo. Yeah, too expensive to buy pre-made ammo. Yep. A lot has changed. A lot has changed since I lived in Idaho. Used to be dirt cheap to just go planking with 22. Okay, I think I'm going to stop on this character and I'm going to keep going. Let's draw the next one. I'm going to get up and get a drink real quick, use the restroom. Everyone take 5. Stretch, get your little bit of exercise in for the day. Look across the room so your eyes adjust. 20, 20, 20. Look at something else 20 feet away for 20 seconds. Get a drink, use the restroom, get a snack. Call your family. Call that random sister or cousin you haven't talked to in forever. I'll be right back, everybody. Hang tight. Druid's probably still going to be here, but...
Yeah. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to talk. I'm kind of focused on this.
If you got past one cell mode, I'd say you're better than about 90% of all the other players. Yeah, I couldn't tell you anymore. I'd have to like reinstall it on Steam and check my my stuff. All right, I'll be right back. 20 millimeters, like $22 a round. Boof, barf, barf. Too expensive. Too expensive, cat. Yeah.
And back, peoples. Whoa.
Okay.
It's a druid.
Well, yeah, I'm here. Trying to figure out. I screwed up this head shape.
It doesn't look too bad to me. I mean, it now doesn't have a nose.
Well, it doesn't look too bad because it's covered by 90s hair.
The 90s was just such a bad era for fashion.
Somebody's gonna demand you take that back. 90s is coming back into fashion.
Yeah. And that's because of Gen Z kids and TikTok. As long as they leave the Rachel in the past. Like, let the Rachel die.
Never.
Sorry. It's super ugly. Sorry, Gamer.
Let's see, what did I miss here?
Me bashing
Corvus.
the 90s.
Yeah. Corvus demanding that the Rachel just die.
Not the actual person, but just the fashion sense of it. Like,
Just be gone for forever and never come back.
I feel old.
I
Why
say
does
this
no one
as
say
a
what
90s.
anymore? Did
What's
anybody
Weeba?
ever say Weeba? Weba?
Weeaboo?
Yeah, Weeaboo
Weeboo?
is something I'm old, but also rude, but fine. My house backs onto a forest and boy, it's creepy at night. Oh, I bet. I want to own a lot of land. I miss that creepy feeling.
Always make sure you look up at the trees. Say hi to the raccoons and possums.
Yep. I got my driver's license yesterday, finally. Congratulations. That's awesome. Or 90s stuff. I hate that I'm part of Gen Z. I don't know where I fit. I don't know where I fit in anymore. Rolling dice.
Were you born before 1980?
No comment. Oh my god. I rolled a 20 and then a 19. And they're nothing on there. A flump bard poet. Dang it.
Nice.
That's
It's one of those little plumpy hats with a feather in it. The dandelion hat. That's all. I was like, what are they called? Like, who wears those? Dandelion from Witcher.
I'm a 90s baby. It's because it causes me physical pain.
I'm an 80s baby, and I do love 80s glam rock.
It's the worst. That's not true. There are things worse than glam rock.
Country rock.
Mm-hmm.
It's way worse.
Yep.
I guess the term is rockabilly.
I'm in the barely before Gen Z, but not full millennial. Yeah. Oh, Weeba is internet slang for welcome back? I mean, I was there when they wrote the wrote the internet. I don't
Back
ever know
when-
using that.
AOL messenger boards?
Yeah. Yep.
Because that's definitely before my time.
I used to go out and basically ask all my friends for their weird AOL CDs so I could use the internet because I didn't have the internet, so I had to get
Download
free
the
trials infinitely.
Alright, I think
did-
I'm done with this.
I did not have internet until I was in 7th grade. And it was crappy Wi-Fi. Not Wi-Fi, but a dial-up internet. So,
Yeah. Yeah, dial-up internet was the worst. Yeah, we're trying to flump. Weeba was big in the aughts. Okay. Pringle can noises. Yeah, I have a can of Pringles.
one of my favorite types of style of chips.
Surprisingly, less sodium than other chips, and they're made out of potatoes. So,
Really?
yeah.
Meaning
yeah.
the
yeah.
salt. I knew they were made of potatoes.
They're still not great. I mean, like, it's a lot.
I-
Basically,
I,
me eating this now means I can't have any salt for dinner, but I don't care.
I can't do Pringles because they're like it's not just potato starch; it's also wheat.
Mm.
Bullseye Paladin.
Do not quote me on the
Eat for
ancient
fun.
ways of the internet. I was there when they were written. That's kind of the meme I was going for.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So what are we rolling?
Oh, still do 20.
Okay. 16.
An Asimar Leonin Barbarian. Holy,
Angel.
yeah, a Johnny the douche cat.
But with wings
Oh, with wings.
and a halo.
I ain't no barbarian.
If Aslan were Leomon.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yes.
much better than what I was gonna say. Asian Pringles are the best. They have Toro ones that can has, and the can has a little cardboard sled elevator. Nice.
Never heard of taro Pringles. Sounds pretty interesting. As long as it's not sweet, like sweet potato or ube. I can't deal with those.
What is up with jackfruit?
It's a meat substitute.
Yeah, it's this weird, huge tropical growing fruit, and it's used as a meat substitute because it's kind of fibrous. So when you cook it, it doesn't really have any flavor. So it's kind of like tofu in that regard, but it shreds like meat does.
Corvus was talking to me about it the other day, and I was like, jackfruit is totally normal. Like, I see it all the time around here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, it's just a weird fruit. I don't give a crap. And then right after I talked to you about it, one of my friends came in from Portland, and he's like, oh my god, I have to tell you about jackfruit. I'm like, I don't care about jackfruit. And he's like, no, it's amazing. And I'm like, what is happening right now? Why is everybody trying to get me to eat jackfruit? So
yeah,
I don't know if there was like a show or something on it, or
I think people are just becoming more aware of it as a meat substitute because specifically it's like green, like slightly underripe jackfruit that's used for the meat substitute. When ripe, it's really sweet and very tropical fruit tasting.
Interesting.
That's the only way I can describe it. Like how mangoes and papayas taste like tropical fruit.
Out of curiosity, what do Americans think of the English? I haven't the slightest idea. Impartial?
Depends on where you're from and how badly Britain fucked us. Or fucked that specific location in the past.
I've had...
yeah.
I had somebody tell me, like, what do people actually think about me? And then their response was, honey, we don't think about you when you're not here. And I was like, fair. That's how I feel a lot of the time when people ask me questions like that. Maybe it's because I'm more kind of not give a shit about stuff. But yeah, I've even done that like here in Washington. We drove down to Tacoma. We were talking to someone down there, and they're like, well, man, here in Tacoma, like, we give people that live near Seattle shit. Like, I assume you guys give us shit too. And I was like, what are you talking about? I've never once thought to myself, those damn Tacoma people. Like, I don't know. I don't think about stuff like that, I guess.
Honey, we don't even know you exist.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah. What do we feel about European? That weird Smurf-headed guy is kind of annoying. He got fired though, right? I think he got fired.
Yeah.
I know him, and I know Baby Spice. That's it.
Boris Johnson.
Baby Spice.
Those are the two British people I know.
My thing with British people, specifically only English people, only the English, because I've knew a lot of English people in my college. They were kind of just assholes to us, and are very dickish about how we pronounced eggplant and cilantro and zucchini. I was like, is that the only thing you all care about? So that's my thing on the English. It's like,
I used to watch Top Gear a lot, so like I didn't hear. Yeah. I don't care so much about courgette versus zucchini. But like the aluminium versus aluminum thing kills me, especially since after looking it up, it turns out that the person who named and published the name aluminum was the British scientist who was in charge of naming the element.
Yep.
And they named it aluminum, but all of the other British scientists hated the guy, I guess. And so passive aggressively, we're like, no, we're not going to use that. We're going to go aluminium instead because we think it sounds less shit. I don't know.
Yeah. It was like more in line with Latin pronunciations of the elements, but it's like
Gallium.
It just seemed like really passive aggressive to me, and I thought that was really funny. And basically that's what I think of Britain whenever somebody brings something like this up, and just like, oh yeah, they're kind of like non-committal, passive aggressive.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I also acknowledge that that's really not a fair shake because I don't personally know anybody from Great Britain or from any of the British Isles or from the UK. I know that I don't particularly agree with the positions that were taken by the...
I apologize to half of those people.
I accept your apology.
Yeah. I don't particularly agree with positions that were taken by the British like Empire when that was still a thing, but I'm pretty sure we've all moved past that. I think
that's still not fair though to the British people.
Exactly. like no.
If that's the case, like we're in trouble for like Afghanistan.
Oh, like 100%.
That's not my fault, but I accept that the United States government was not in the right there.
Yes, 100%. So like. Yeah, I'm not going to hold that against anybody who's currently alive.
Yeah.
Because that would be stupid and unreasonable. Yeah, I don't know. Shit's complicated. Geopolitics are complicated.
Yeah.
People are people.
And Herb. Yeah, I mean, like, so the different thing, the thing about American English is that American English is very much skewed by a lot of different countries and a lot of different languages. So
yes.
There are some things. I was watching a historian talk about this, about some of like saying herb is British bastardizations of its own words because they wanted to sound proper. So like proper English specifically doesn't sound like common English, and it's just that like that has blended to the common folk over the years anyways. And so but it was this very much high society specifically trying to say things the proper way as to not be seen as common. And so a lot of the weird pronunciations that like, why do Americans say it this way and British people say it another way? It's because British people are trying to be pompous before Americans left. Right? Like that's how Europeans said it before Americans left, and then it just kind of shifted. So,
do you watch Lost in the Pond, Rook?
Yeah, I do. That might have been
same.
I do still hold the British government because their stance on denouncing the topic and delegitimization of stuff they do due to North Americans. Yeah, I mean, politicians are kind of just shitty.
Yeah. I don't particularly care about that, honestly, because it doesn't affect me right now, to be perfectly honest. I'm still pretty fucking pissed at the British Museum.
Yep.
For their policies about refusing to, and also the Crown for their policies about refusing to return crown jewels and, like objects of value that were looted from basically the spoils of war of the British Empire conquering other nations for no other reason than to conquer them, right? Like, I still disagree with that, but like, I am not going to hold British people in general accountable for that.
Oh, Cat, your breath is terrible.
Which tuna?
Maybe. You need to brush your teeth.
Yeah. I mean, you're totally entitled to those beliefs that you have, so as a First Nations person.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about that. I agree. It's kind of weird and shitty, and I don't have an answer for it.
I was actually watching Lost in Pond earlier, and just like, I love that he fakes the accent in his like normal videos, but when he's like doing like his weird little tag-along videos, it's like, oh, so that's your real English accent, not this ridiculous over the top. It's like,
I mean,
oh,
I think when I'm trying to be funny or I have a much thicker accent than I actually have. It's just,
I don't think you have an accent at all.
not now. I don't, but like we've talked to Jonas about stuff, and I get a twang every now and again that's completely unintentionally artificial.
Yeah. I get a little bit of Utah lazy drawl every once in a while too.
Yeah,
But for
sorry,
for the most part, because you're good.
Go ahead.
For the most part, because I have a little bit of a lisp, that sibilance covers a lot of the like Utah doesn't really have an accent. Most like what it does have is kind of a laziness and a refusal to pronounce consonants in a lot of words. But because I'm working on trying to reduce my lisp a little bit and reduce the hard S's because I spend so much time here.
I have
on the internet.
Yeah, I have some family that's like grew up in Utah, and every now and again it'll hit real hard, and everyone will just pause and be like, "What? What did you just say?" I'm trying to think of an example, but it's less prominent now, especially from like if you grew up in Salt Lake City.
I did.
Rural Utah.
Yeah,
which is the same thing with like rural Idaho. Rural Idaho has a really weird accent. But it's
rural anywhere Western US has a really weird accent, and a lot of it's pretty similar.
Yeah, that's not really the case for us, where even in really urbanized areas, like you'll still get like in my context, the Kentucky accent, which is different from other. It's like different from a Tennessee accent.
My Texan friend goes full Banjo Boy when he gets mad, but otherwise sounds generic American.
Which is kind of funny to say because generic American isn't really generic American. It's kind of like Hollywood Californian.
Well, see, now I would actually say Hollywood Californian, like people that grow up in California have a weird accent. Like I can hear it.
Oh yeah.
But like for the
Hollywood, California, you're right. Like there's a very non-accented
TV speak.
Yeah.
Like the terms for that is transatlantic.
Okay.
Accents.
Not quite, because transatlantic was specifically like a blending of an American accent with British pronunciations.
Night plus silence plus force plus paranoia, not fun. That's no good. What? Don't be on your porch. Go inside. Sorry, go ahead, Druid.
So kind of transatlantic the transatlantic was, I think, specifically developed as an accent actively made by Hollywood in back in the day in order to kind of appeal to a wider audience. So I think that the TV, like that, the generic American accent, air quotes, that we're kind of talking about kind of falls in the same sort of category, at least as far as intent. But I believe like like a real transatlantic accent is like you only see that when you go back to like when you go back like 40 years in old black and white cinema.
Is that like the weird newscaster voice?
Kind of, yes.
Like the old military propaganda films.
Did
the
you ever
common
watch
soldier,
Frasier?
yeah. Did I ever watch? Yeah, I think so. I think I saw Frasier.
Because Frasier had a transatlantic accent.
Yes.
Okay, it's like very fine, poignant enunciation. Okay, I can see that.
Yes, that's part of it, but with some very specific British sort of pronunciations shoehorned in,
Snobbery.
along with well, like that's what it's used to carry now, is a sense of snobbery, and that's why when Cheers introduced Frasier as a character, they specifically had him use that accent.
Interesting.
And I believe Kelsey Grammer, like he's very much a classically trained like Shakespearean actor, and so I think that's why it was within his range. Anyway,
have you ever heard Pedro Pascal talk normally?
No.
I don't think he ever uses his real voice in anything he does. And I don't know why that is. But it might just be how he like carries himself, because he usually plays kind of like larger, gruff people.
Sure, yeah.
And I guess when I saw him in Game of Thrones, he had a really thick accent. But like when he talks normally, like I saw him do Hot Wings, he's just very, very like low and chill. And it's just like, no, I need the Game of Thrones accent back. That's so good. So yeah, it's fun seeing actors and actresses like have these different ranges, and you never really being sure what their actual voice is.
Yeah.
Who's another good example of that?
Oh my gosh.
Who played the Hobbit? Can't remember the actor who played the Hobbit.
Starts with the W.
Who played Bilbo?
Oh, Bilbo.
In the Hobbit.
Thinking, why was I thinking Frodo?
Martin. Shoot. His American accent's really funny. He was in the Wakanda Forever. As an FBI agent or a CIA agent. It's just like every time I see him with an American accent, it's really funny. Martin Freeman. There we go. Thank you. Why do people be so obsessed with the English accent? From what I've seen, it makes no sense. The obsession with the American accent for a long time was that what we're talking about here is the kind of like Hollywood accent doesn't have an accent, so it's really easy to understand regardless of where you're from. Versus like very thick Southern accents or like even New York accents.
Brooklyn specifically.
Yeah, they're hard for other English speakers to understand sometimes. So and part of the problem that people were having years ago, especially like I know this was one example, people that were learning in India that were learning English learned it from British people, and they picked up that accent, and then that made it really hard for North American speakers to understand them because their English had this secondary or tertiary accent added to it. So a lot of people were really interested in hearing and learning unaccented English, and that's what made it so why people wanted it so much.
So it's basically developed as the Arial font of English, the English language, the spoken English language. Designed to be more easily understood.
Also, I think the English accent that most Americans who are obsessed with the English accent are obsessed with the BBC English accent.
Yeah, which is that specifically a Londoner accent? I can never tell. Truth be told,
I know it's taught.
So it's probably not then. The thing that's really funny to me is like the British Isles are tiny compared to America, but I'm pretty sure they have way more accents than America.
Oh, I mean, condensed into smaller spaces? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like most people in Idaho, there's like 2 accents, but like the entirety of of the UK fits in there, and there's like 5 or 6 accents in the UK. So like,
Oh, true. There's so
Yeah.
many more than that. Like it's almost to the point where every single village basically has its own
Yep.
accent. And I mean, like, don't even get me started on Welsh, which is ostensibly a whole other language, and it's just like in one tiny section
Let's see,
of
yeah.
the UK. So
There's a Hollywood Scottish accent, and then there's the jumped word mess that rural Scots speak. That sounds rough. I avoid it like the plague. I often like to speak native tongues. Confuse people. That could be really funny. I often keep thinking to myself, like, I need to go back and relearn Spanish and Japanese and Portuguese. Because I've started all of those and never became fluent in any of them. I thought I was here for the drawing stream, but I've been pleasantly surprised by the lesson. Zach of all trades, welcome in. We talk everything here.
yeah.
A lot of natives also seem to have their own accent at times. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think I'm
I
done
do
with
love
this
a good
floor.
York accent.
New York or York? Like
No,
Yorkshire?
York.
Interesting.
Yorkshire.
What accent does Picard have?
I think he has BBC Shakespearean English.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he actually, though Oliver could probably give better insight since they are from England. But
Yeah. Well, we rely on you to fact check us on this one.
let's see. Because I think he's from London. I could be wrong.
He does have he did a poem one time with his that's on the internet somewhere about him and his original accent. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I thought he was from a small village in the southeast.
He's from Yorkshire.
He's from Yorkshire, okay.
Okay.
So he's from the far north.
Oh well, I was totally wrong then. Meh.
Check out his Yorkshire poem. Just type that into Google. I bet you'll find it. Okay, there we go. I got a flump playing a guitar, and I think I'm done with that one. That's all flump would need to be a bard. Just pooting around. Yeah, please suggest a male half-dragon, half-orc barbarian warlord. Skull-shaped axes.
Okay. So I typed it in and brought me to a Wired video where it's going off most Googled things about Patrick Stewart, and one of them was Yorkshire poem.
Yeah. Watch it, it's pretty great. In Asian cultures, the accents are very subtle, so most English speakers can't pick up on them. Interesting.
That does not surprise me.
I mean, a lot of English speaking issues I've come up with is, for the most part, without any kind of training, is a lot of Asian speaking languages just sound so different that you can't tell them apart. So I took Japanese for 2 or 3 years, so I can usually pretty accurately hear somebody speaking Japanese and be like, oh, they're speaking Japanese. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. But like if someone is speaking Korean or Chinese, I think I can pick up Chinese, but I'm not at all confident that I could say that someone was speaking Korean. I don't know the language well enough.
And I think Korean is the only one I could recognize.
Interesting.
But like I learned a little bit of Korean because I took Taekwondo in high school, and like we specifically were taught some of that. Yeah. And I pursued it a little bit more outside of that.
So I think a big part of that is just exposure, because like I can pick up German and Russian, like French for sure. Like there's a bunch of languages that I can tell, like, okay, they're speaking this language, but I don't know enough to actually understand what they're saying. But there's a handful of them. Same thing with like African languages. Nothing. I just don't
Oh
have the
yeah,
reference
no.
for it.
I have no
Um,
hope for African languages, unfortunately, because some of them they are so cool.
Yeah,
Oh man.
but I really do think it's just mostly just a an exposure thing.
Yeah.
Like we don't have a lot of exposure to different Asian languages.
Yeah.
I think I could pick up Mandarin specifically. I don't know if I could pick up Cantonese.
Yeah, see, I would struggle with that. Actually, learning Norwegian, nice.
I when I was learning Korean, I actually I appreciate the Korean alphabet so much, but like it's the only written Asian language that I have seen that I'm like, oh, I can actually differentiate these symbols. I think I could grasp this.
Yeah.
I like it is very clean.
And
And
the perks
also,
of inventing their own script.
yeah, yeah,
Like
it does.
consciously inventing it.
You used to be able
Yeah.
to write in Japanese.
Yeah. I actually think that Korean is my language of choice when I'm designing a or when I'm thinking about cyberpunk, because it feels so graphic designy to me. It feels to me like the characters fit that aesthetic.
There's a lot of animation is coming out of Korea right now.
Mhm.
A lot of animation studios, and so yeah, they're getting a lot of like a lot of background elements and stuff is coming from there. So I could definitely see that. Like I think that I don't know if the cyberpunk show Edge Runner.
Yeah.
Was that animation studio in Korea? I think it
Not
was.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm trying to learn Dutch. That may have been a mistake.
What's weird is Dutch is probably the closest language, like linguistically related to English, but English has so many foreign loan words. It's like completely diverted from the West Germanic languages.
Studio Trigger is
Like
based
Dutch.
in Japan. Oh, sorry, of course. I just read that out loud. Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Because specifically Old English, like Germanic Old English, was a type of West Germanic language.
Okay.
So it would been most similar to the language spoken in, like in the Netherlands, specifically Friesland, which is one of the provinces. But because England basically had a lot of French thrust upon it due to the conquest,
Yep.
it incorporated a lot of French and then Latin.
Yeah, Latin because of the influence of the Catholic Church.
Yep.
I totally forgot that was done by Studio Trigger.
Is it Studio Trigger?
It is, apparently. Freaking love Studio Trigger. Now I feel stupid.
Maybe what you were thinking of, maybe it was Castlevania. It was done by a Korean studio.
I think a lot of Netflix's stuff is done in Korea. Like a lot of their animation studios are, but I don't know that.
So Powerhouse Animation, Muwa Film, and Tiger Animation.
I know Steven Universe, I think. Yeah, like Steven Universe and Owl House? I think part of their animation studio is in Korea.
Mm.
But they hide a bunch of stuff in like their packaging and stuff, which is really fun because the animation team just gets to fill it all in. There's some words in English that are straight up taken from German. Kindergarten, Doppel. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Once saw two
Like
people
that.
using ASL to trash talk me, so I signed a good day, and they panicked.
I would like to learn ASL.
It's based in French, isn't it?
Possibly.
I mean,
Like,
does that matter?
No, like it makes it. If somebody gets their hearing after having learned ASL, I know that it makes it harder because grammatically it's different.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I was gonna say, like, I didn't think the language you know really matters because you're like, it's a lot less words and more conceptual things, right? Like,
Yeah. So, like I don't think
unless you
because
go into
you're not
spelling.
because you're not thinking in sounds, I don't think it's that bad. But like I believe, and if anybody knows better, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well,
But like, I have heard specifically that that ASL is based on.
I mean, it's American Sign Language. So,
Yes. Yes. So they like it represents English words,
Okay.
but structurally it's much closer to French.
Gamma is saying it's grammatically is based around the French verb conjugation, which is reverse grammar. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, I was Googling it, and it is most closely related to the French Sign Language.
Interesting.
So.
I guess the French still use the same alphabet that we do.
Yeah.
That wouldn't matter.
And
that's
it's all Greek.
Yep.
That's why the Latin languages that use Latin alphabets are easier for other people who use the Latin alphabet to learn.
Makes sense.
I do like how Turkish used to be written with the Arabic alphabet, but when the Ottoman Empire collapsed and the nation state of Turkey rise, they switched to the Latin alphabet because it actually matches better with the Turkish language than Arabic did.
I did not know that. That's very cool.
Yeah. So all they had to do was just like add like a few like accent marks to existing letters, and boom, Bob's your uncle. Turkish language.
There we go. One
Learn
celestial
ASL, but I
kitty.
feel like I would use it to avoid social situations. Interesting. Yeah.
I mean, I probably would too. Not gonna lie.
I mean, if by you mean like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't talk to you because I can't hear. Like, yeah, I wouldn't do that. That's a dick move. But because I mean, you could do that now. just literally learn. I'm sorry, I don't understand, and then just do that forever. You'd be the same amount of asshole and with way less effort. No habla inglés. Just gotta go.
Or you could just say, please don't talk to me, and walk away, right? Like
I think my favorite one was no thank you. Just excuse me? No thank you. No, listen, no thank you. Like, it's a great way to get arrested, but it's a really funny story. One of my friends used to just scream. He would just like, if someone started talking to him, like just getting, he was kind of a dick, but so people would like come up to him, like get up in his face at the skate park and stuff, and he would just scream at them. He would just yell, like incoherently just yell at them. And they were just like, whoa, all right, fine. Just leave. And he just didn't care. Everyone would stop and look at him. He'd just go back to whatever he was doing. He's a weird dude.
Awesome.
Also, small war in ASL. Some academics are removing the puns and inside jokes from the OG ASL. I mean, that's what academics do, right? Let's try to be proper. It's like, who cares? It's not going to get rid of it. How many people learned curse words from their teachers at school? I wouldn't pretend to be deaf, just mute. I mean, yeah, you could do that now.
I love cussing.
Yeah. It's only going to get worse if the person then like tries to use sign language, right? So
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. I would just be like, I'm not having this conversation. Goodbye. Sorry, I'm getting a call. I got to run. Yeah, exactly. That's the way to do it. What's that? Oh, my phone. My phone. I need to take this and just walk away.
Hold your banana up to your ear. Hello?
I've kind of done that with like if I didn't want to like engage in a conversation, I'll have like earbuds or headphones on and just nothing be playing in them. It's just...
I was on a plane. And I had my headphones on, and the lady next to me just like leans over and starts talking at me, and I'm like staring at her, and I finally take off my headphones. I'm like, what? And she just goes into a conversation. I was like, oh, cool, okay. And I put my headphones back on, and then she just keeps talking at me, and I was like, I guess I'm just having a conversation with this lady. Like, I don't know who you are. I'm not interested in this. This is a 2-hour flight. Please don't make me do this. And I just sat there for 2 hours holding my headphones. Like, you are interrupting me. Like, I'm doing something. It was a pain.
Crazy.
Yeah.
She was probably coping with something.
She was, and that's why I let it happen. I was like, yeah. I have nothing to add to this, but if you just need to talk, I guess that's what's happening now.
She was just a nervous flyer and needed just.
Yeah. That's what I would have assumed. But like right now, I'm at the point where I would have actually talked to her and been like, okay, like I realize you're doing this to cope. What you're doing is making my life worse. I have social anxiety. I need you to find somebody else who can serve this need for you, because I'm not capable of doing it for you. Please.
I bet you stop it.
Yeah.
I'm a nervous flyer. I can't nap on planes. So I usually just bring a comic and just read a comic the whole time. And so this lady talking to me, I was like, man, I want to check out. I don't want to be here.
Let me enter my mind palace.
I think I'm fine once we're like pretty much like level in the air flying. But like takeoff and landing, it's like nope. This is where everything goes wrong.
I actually don't mind the sensations of flying or moving. It's the sounds. Like it's the constant droning sound that like. Yeah,
it's just it's super uncomfortable.
Yeah. And how cramped and tight everything is. I'm a tall person.
I'm a brick.
Yeah. I'm depending on how straight I'm sitting, between 6'2" and 6'3", and airplanes are not made for me. Yeah, so I always feel like I'm packed like a sardine in there, and that is the biggest thing. And then the sound of the jets, the air blowing on me, like I get sensory overload real fast, real easy, and planes as a whole are just kind of too much. The movement part, not a problem for me.
I think the only time that actually really freaked out, other than landing, was I was coming back from Boston to where I was working in Virginia, and we had some really bad turbulence, and it was like I lifted off the seat a bit. I was like, oh god. It was the worst thing ever.
I don't enjoy roller coasters because they're either A, not scary, or B, unsafe. like there is no middle ground. You can't have a something that is like, when I'm in a plane, I'm not worried about the plane crashing, because it's like, one, either the plane is completely safe and they've checked it and it's fine, or I'm gonna die and I can't do anything about it. like there's no middle ground there. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have those kind of hangups. I just get very anxious.
Yeah.
Which I can deal with. I can deal with that because I can. But I don't like it. I don't like it, and that's the problem. Hold on, we got a whole bunch of stuff here. Rook, are you drawing a metal album cover? I guess so. I mean, it's supposed to be an orc with a skull axe. My favorite part of COVID was being able to pretend I didn't recognize people. Oh, that's funny. I have really bad, I have bad name recall. So, I'll meet people that I know very well, and I'll forget their names. And I've bumped into people that are, way excited to meet me, and I'm like, oh, yeah, here's, this is Captain Jump Rope. And I will just, I don't remember what their names are. And then as soon as I, walk away from the awkward conversation of not introducing people, she's like, oh, gotta go. And then I take 2 steps and it's like, ah, shit, I know that guy's name now. It's so bad. It's so bad.
I feel that.
I like flying, but something about the artificial pressure makes me feel achy. I have the how to fly when you get there in altitude. I've never been on a plane before. I have. I've flown a small plane once for 5 minutes. It was a private. One of my cousin's friends had a little tiny. I don't remember what they're called. It's a 4-seater plane. It's not a biplane, but it's that size.
Mm-hmm.
So we went up in that for 30 minutes, and he's like, "Here you go," and I was like, "Oh God!" That was interesting. That was a fun experience. I presumed to almost fly straight into the ground, and he's just like, "Well, I'm gonna take that back." I was like, "That's a good idea." I was 12. It was pretty silly.
Mm.
Roller coasters, head removers. Cessna? It might have been a Cessna. I don't know. It's one of those little crop duster planes.
Ooh, Zach of all trades, is that because of the intrusive thoughts?
Maybe.
Love it when that little voice in the back of your head's like, hey, you can get just a little bit closer to that edge. Wow, that's a long way down. Wouldn't it be wild if you just jumped?
There was one of the colleges I went to in Idaho. I only went there for a semester, but in one of their stairwells, they had a 3 or 4 level stairwell, and at the bottom of it, there was a whole bunch of vending machines. And every day after class, I had to walk super slow because everybody could just only walk super slow down these stupid stairs. And on my last day there, I was like, fuck it. And from the top floor, I jumped down to the next floor stairs and then down onto the soda machines. And then I jumped over a dude and just took off. And that was my one time giving into the intrusive thoughts. It's you can make that jump. Just fucking do it. And I was like, fuck this place, I'm out. I got people had the most panicked look in their eyes. I did have to tell the person at the soda machine, I was like, don't move. And they were just like, what? I bailed over the top. Oh, it was fun. Oh, man, I don't know how I'm still alive. Explosives are more safe than carnivals.
Well, if you are with an explosives expert, yes.
Yeah. That's the problem, is that I trust a bomb expert way more than I trust a roller coaster expert.
You mean the 16-year-old who's been put in charge of putting people on the roller coaster?
Yeah.
Because I don't think there is any such thing as a roller coaster expert who actually stays at the park and monitors every roller coaster all the time.
The carny with the bolts.
Yeah.
We have 4 extra bolts. It's probably fine. But yeah, so fair carnival roller coasters, I won't ride. It's just no, that's stupid. That is you are endangering your life. But if you go to a fancy amusement park where the roller coasters are permanent, those aren't exciting to me. It's like, yeah, oh, we're going fast. That's fun. But like, I'm safe. I'm totally safe right now. there's no danger. Wet blanket. Wet blanket Rook. That's what they call me. I hate fun.
You just got to go bungee jumping.
Nope. That can kill you when it goes right. I should look that up. I actually don't know the I don't know the statistics for bungee jumping. Skydiving is interesting to me, but once again, it's got that like they make you pack your own parachute. It's like I want an expert to like do that for me. If I can sue somebody because they fuck up, I trust them way more than me. I want to make sure that they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Call of the Abyss sometimes has cool, bad ideas. Like the book? Or is that a game? I've never seen full roller coasters at a carnival. Bummer. Wet blanket Rook, where Rook rants about things he doesn't think are fun. That'd be a long channel.
I don't think podcasts about politics are fun.
That's true.
I don't think that's a hot take, though.
Are you done for the day, Druid?
Yeah, I think so.
That's fine. It is 2:20. Probably going to finish up this Dragon Boy, and then we'll probably call it for the day.
Yeah. I think I did pretty good. I got 5 drawings done, which is more than I usually do, but like not as much detail as I had been doing in the past, so that's okay, right? It's okay that I didn't give one person a $300 drawing commission,
yeah, that's totally fine. Dragon M, hello, how goes it? Pretty good. Pretty good. You know what really grinds my gears? I've tried really hard to not whine and just like bemoan. Is that the right word?
Yeah, that works.
On YouTube. Because can I? I can complain about anything.
I think it's kind of part of the point of that sort of material is that everybody can, and it's kind of comforting to be in a group of miserable people, but at the same time, if everybody's just flopping misery porn, then nobody ever gets happier. So
yeah, and that's really kind of my statement of not doing it is like I get the catharsis of needing to vent sometimes. That's fine.
Yeah.
Definitely like I have a problem, I need some advice. That's great. But like as the presenter or the host of the channel, like as soon as I start becoming negative and like just ragging on people, like I'm not bringing joy to anybody. I'm just perpetuating misery, which is not my intent in life. So I try very hard to not do that kind of stuff. But some things make me so angry. So don't get me wrong. I definitely get the grump all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Call of the Abyss is those thoughts like, I wonder what it would happen if I drive off the bridge. Oh yeah, so those are the intrusive thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah. That little voice that calls to you in the back of your mind out of the darkness. Hey, what if?
Thank you for answering that, Corvus. Yeah, we stream on Wednesdays and Fridays. We might be around tomorrow on Twitch. I have some commission work I want to get done, but I also want to try to get this video out. So we'll see how much I get done today, and we'll go from there. So It might be on Twitch tomorrow, but we'll be back on Friday. And I still have the list, so if your suggestion didn't get drawn today, we'll still have it for Friday, and we'll try to get it going there. What else can we add to this barbarian boy? I want him to be a little more clawed up.
He's got at least one chest strap across his chest. He's got tattoos. He's got a stupidly oversized weapon.
Got a big belt. Let's give him a big belt.
Yep. He's already got a jaw like a boulder. I'd say he's good.
Give him some little like dragon pokies here. Scutes. Give him some scutes.
Zach of all trades, I think the list is in it's the YouTube
Yeah, YouTube community post.
community
YouTube
post.
right
Yeah.
now.
Sorry, my brain is done.
Nope, let's get it. I get it. I have a copy of it for myself that I'm keeping track of. So like the YouTube community post doesn't have the like which ones have already been drawn, but I have that list. So if you want to add to it, you can. If you want to just wait till Friday, you can. And then all of these drawings I'll put in the Discord so people can use them for their like their home games or whatever they're doing.
Yeah, same.
But I think we'll probably call it there. Go get some lunch, work on some stuff, maybe play some games. We'll get going. Thanks again for hanging out today, everybody. What else is going on? I've had the YouTube shorts up. If you haven't seen those shorts, go check them out. Give them a watch. Give them a comment. If you have D&D questions, even if they're like super vague or just something you want to see that you haven't seen or want my take on something, let me know in those comments, and then that way I can make more shorts trying to deal with people's D&D stuff. And I don't know, I feel like I want to branch out from D&D, but I don't know what I would branch out to. People keep telling me like, oh, do Final Fantasy stuff. It's like, meh. And then Joe Cat just did another awesome thing. So I don't know. I never know what to do. Just having lunch and now I'm going to sleep. Nice. Have a good night. Have a good day, everybody. Aside from that, yeah, that's all I got. Comment on those videos. We're on our way to 9,000 subscribers, which is amazing.
Very cool.
I was reading a Reddit post the other day, and this guy's like, "Oh, if you like post your third video and you don't have 1,000 subscribers already, you should probably just give up." And I was like, "Oh, fuck yourself." Like, I feel pretty accomplished for having almost 9,000 subscribers. So thank you everybody for helping out. You like certain video games, book series? I think the Dresden series has probably been my favorite so far. That and like The Expanse. I reread Lord of the Rings like every month. So who knows? But yeah, and right now I'm playing Final Fantasy 14 and Elden Ring. Got the multiplayer mod to work, so that's been really fun. But yeah, found my guy on the list. But nice, good. Yeah, that's all I got. Just get out there, like, comment, subscribe, share the videos. That does help us out a lot. And other than that, stay happy, stay healthy, keep your dice on the table, and we'll catch you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Let's see if there's anybody to raid, but there hasn't been for the last few weeks. So I'm not super hopeful. Who's around? What if Combat's around? Let's go over there. Thanks, everyone. Bye.